Well, I forgot to loop the video, so now it's my screen. Well, hi, everybody.
Nicely done.
You know, it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress.
We're learning things every week.
There we
Mostly
go.
what we can't do.
Loop the
better than
video.
what we can.
There we go. There we go.
Woo, shit, man, yeah.
Oh, no, everyone saw my spam on Twitter. My inbox full of people saying, I love your website. Would you be interested in optimizing your website?
You have Twitter spam?
Yeah, I get DM spam.
I don't get that at all.
But you have DMs off, right?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, followers only.
You're DM free.
Or people I follow only. Oh, I didn't know there was a thing. Now I'm definitely never turning that shit off.
Oh, I'm tweeting.
Yeah, sorry. Can't DM me unless I follow you.
I'm tweeting.
Oh, yeah, I should tweet. It's so bad about that lately. Share, copy. Go to the Twitter.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Good to see you all here. Yeah, we were dealing with some technical hullabaloo as we attempt to record and stream and get cameras to everybody who needs them. So there's a limit on what my processor or something, my Windows 10 is capable of.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna have any visual aids. Yeah.
You shouldn't, but you know, it's an audio podcast, so I probably shouldn't reference what's on screen anyway.
I mean,
I can attempt to give you.
it's fine. Don't worry about it. I
Okay.
just wanted confirmation that I don't need to worry about
Wait,
visuals.
What are you doing? Okay, no, that's okay.
Something else break?
No, it was confused for a moment. Let me see if this works. Okay, you can have my screen. I just can't record at the same time.
It is so stupid.
I have no idea why, but would you rather have that or my camera?
Just give me your camera. It's
Okay.
but I honestly don't care.
I didn't do my hair. Shit.
That's on you.
I know. I know it's a podcast and I didn't do my hair.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Everyone sees Kyle's natural hair.
No, it's not as fluffy as it normally
It's
is.
just still nice and straight, which I guess people prefer to wavy or curly, according to comments. Is that typing?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I thought I was hearing something weird for a
Nope.
second.
I was just posting to the Discord that we are live over
I
here.
wanted it to be typing.
Yeah.
I was like, please let that be typing.
We should be good in that department.
Noise.
What else needs clicking before we're ready? I think we did it.
I think everything that has broken or that can break has broken. And that's not true. I'm not going to tempt fate. I'm good to go, I think.
Cool. Yeah,
I'm good to go if you are.
there's an endless parade of optimizations and stuff and cool things we can do to fill out the video portion of the show, but lo and behold, we can only do so much per episode.
We're here to do a podcast.
Yeah. It's an audio show first and foremost. You know, visuals are fun. I like visuals. Where are we at? Oh, I need to. Okay, yeah, this is a personal problem. Personal problem. I'll deal with that in the future.
What is it?
So if I ever want to show Steam, I need to figure out how to turn off adult games because, you know, if I'm going through Steam, it'll show the adult games there in the Steam list, and I don't want to flash those on screen.
Is there nudity?
Not usually in the thumbnail, right? And there's usually that protector, so I guess we'd be okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, if a game...
Honestly, that's part of the humor about Steam. But
is on the top of the list, though. You know, there might be some
Trying to
boobage.
think. I think I have that filter on because I don't think I see those games when I go on Steam.
Okay. Yeah, there's an option I can press at some point. Cool. All right, I'm just doing Windows cleanup. Got a billion things open.
It's all good, man. We're here. We're live. As long as people can hear us, we can do a show. I see that Garrett emoji, unknown character.
Welcome,
I see
everybody.
you.
Welcome, everybody. Good to see you all here. We got a membership too as we started the stream here.
Yes, we did. Mythos Midnight.
Oh, leading the way on 4 months.
Yeah, 4 months. Says Wood Podcast time. Let's go. Which I believe he meant woo, but I like Wood Podcast.
Wood podcast.
Wood Podcast.
If I could. Wood podcast if I could.
How much wood could a podcast chuck if a podcast could talk wood?
I don't need you. I don't need you. I don't need you. Get out of here. Podcast notes. Don't need Gmail. Spotify will be ending.
Oh, Hefe gives an interesting tip, which is if you log out but you still look on Steam, it'll show it, but it'll be censored because it can't verify your age.
Oh, so I could just use the website if I ever wanted to show Steam then. Just don't use my login for it. That's good. I like that.
Honestly, yeah, that'd be easier anyway, right? Because half the time you already have a screen region set up for a website.
Yeah, that would be easier. Okay.
Stephen King! That's Kilmernock! Hey, man!
Hey, good to
Thanks
see
for
you.
becoming a member over here. Welcome to the Gearbox. I recognize you. Wood Podcast, Applesauce. You know.
Hold your
highly
applesauce.
orchestrated pre-recording.
Hold your applesauce.
Hold your applesauce, Kyle.
Hold. All right, I am clicking the final buttons.
It's the final button.
I am killing the music. Killing it dead. Kill it if you have to.
Kill it if you have to.
And we were listening to some Legacy of the Void there. Legacy of the Void. Unleash it. Hold your applesauce until the end. Good capture. I need... Hold your applesauce until the end. I do not have your incriminating file ready on the ready. I apologize.
How dare you?
I did not have that ready today.
Yeah, well, I've got this on at the ready for all times. Is just on a hotkey.
Hold your applesauce until the end.
So next time you start incriminating me, I got you.
Perfect.
I got you.
Perfect. Oh God, where did everything go? Audio. Okay. Got a veritable maze of files. I just need to attach the patron music here.
What I'm hearing is that if I were to hit air horns over and over again, I'd be helping right now.
I think this is it.
Yep, I like that.
Perfect. We'll do
like
that
it.
one. And
Only
then...
you just reminded me that I didn't pull the latest Excel sheet. Let me do that real quick.
Excellent.
We're starting late today, y'all. Hope y'all ready.
It's all good. It's all... I mean, you know, if they watch the Final Fantasy streams, they're used to us palling around, but it's a little more focused because we're in game. This is file management.
In the zone. In the zone.
They called it a mine.
A mine. Where do we leave off? Danny. We left off at Danny.
Right. And then I just want for spamability. Now I can spam God of War. Here we go. Perfect. What are you?
Wow, really? Holy crap. Dude, have you seen how many patrons we got since last week?
Oh, I have not. No.
It's truly
I have not. I've not witnessed
Yeah.
this. Barry.
Oh, did it go backwards? That might have been. That makes more sense. Oh yeah, it's
Forward and
backwards.
backwards?
Oh,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm like, that is a truly
Okay.
unrealistic number of people. Okay. All right, we got this. We got this now.
Perfect. I've been kind of chilling off screen here. We're good. Garrett. Kyle. Stream.
Garrett, you want me to make fart noises? What are we doing here?
Nope. Just testing
You got
all.
a new kink I don't know about.
Testing all the varieties of cameras that I have access to. And we're good to rock. I'm ready.
Sick. What's your real name, Brondo? Should have gotten thanked.
Yeah.
Unless it's this week.
Did we miss you? We'll be
Should have gotten thanked.
happy to thank you again.
What's your name on Patreon? This, I guess, is a more important question. Are you Brondo? Brondo. Nope. No one named Brondo on here.
Happy to include it.
Happy to include. You know, just in case. I'm just gonna add a little name here.
Yeah, let's do it.
You know, I'll take you at your word, Brondo. Take you at your word. Glad to hear, Valea. Glad we can give you a little happy surprise when you come home. Oh yeah. Well, Kyle, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, let me horribly distracted. Am I getting Kyle levels? Go, Kyle.
Go, Kyle. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Cool. I'm ready if you are.
Let's do it.
Shit, I don't know if you're showing the logo.
Yeah, the logo's up.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm gonna do
All
it.
right, Grinding Gear Podcast, episode 3, records live in 3, 2, 1.
I'm smarter than a beaver.
Greetings and welcome. This is the Grinding Gear Podcast. I'm Garrett, here as always with Kyle. Happy Thursday, dude.
Happy Thursday, Garrett.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. We got a packed show today. We're gonna be doing some spoiler stuff. So warning at the top for everybody. We're gonna be talking later on the show. So stick around. But later on the show.
You don't need to warn them. We're not to it yet.
Well, I know, but we'll fill it out, because once we're in it, like I'm not gonna, do this warning all the time. Plus, it's a new thing, it's a new segment, so we're gonna be talking about Prey 2022 today, the Hulu Predator movie. It's not related to the video game Prey in the past, which was a little confusing.
There's also multiple movies by the same name and more than one game by the same name.
It's a word. You can only go so far. There's only so many names in the world. And we'll be doing my big expose on God of War 2018 that I finished this week.
I cannot wait to talk to you about, honestly, both of those things. Yeah, so we're debuting another. If you haven't noticed, our segments are fluid.
Yes.
When we have something to talk about and it falls into a segment, the segment's on the episode. But, some things may not happen every week and they may reappear other weeks. So this week we are debuting our new segment, what we're calling post credits, which is when we talk about full on. It's our spoilers segment for something we have both made it to the end of.
Yeah. But first, video game news and all that sort of thing. I'm excited to be free again. It makes it sound negative, but I've been going on God of War. It has been every single night. Everything got pushed to the side. So now I look upon the banquet of games that are coming out and what I want to pick next. It's such an exciting time. It's shopping time. And, there's the Cult of the Lamb just came out. That looks kind of fun. Kind of, Zelda-y, but kind of Don't Starve is very the art style. I think it's more of like a roguelike though. ultimately.
All I've heard about this is the name, and I've seen, I guess, the loaded, like the title screen with the actual lamb with the bloody eyes.
Yeah, with the little hat on and all that. I think it's like a city. So my understanding from the outside, it just released, I think, yesterday, and they took away the demo on Steam. So you can't get the demo. Maybe I can go to their website and still play the demo. But it's kind of a city sim. Managing your city is how you get the roguelite kind of aspect of it, where, you know, as you go out and maybe die, you bring back some resources and upgrade, increase your health, and you get followers that are worshiping you because you're an evil lamb or something. Very much in that kind of Tunic atmosphere. Hopefully something a little Moonlighter-y as games I have enjoyed in the past.
Oh, this looks cute. This looks like a pop-up book.
Yeah, lots of people have said it's Tom Nook, but he sacrifices people. So a little Animal Crossing action in there, if that interests you. But
I dig.
A little controller game action should be fun. I'm also curious about Farthest Frontier, which is very much in this vein of Going Medieval. Is that the name of the game? There's like Banished, and there are all these kind of real world sims where like monsters never really attack. There's no monsters, which is honestly a small hit in the direction for me, because I'm like, man, I really like, you know, I want to defend my town. There needs to be monsters. But this is in that vein of even Timberborn was one of the more recent ones, where it's gonna be strategy. You know, you manage the people and make sure not, you know, everyone's not having too many babies because the food supplies. And I think there's some bandit attacks in this one. Early access.
Oh,
I've heard
this game looks like something I'd play.
I need an ending.
Yeah.
I need an ending. I love Age of Empires, StarCraft, all those sort of things. Games for me these days in my adult sphere require endings. And even Minecraft, you can like go kind of defeat a final boss, but I want your game to be like, you did it. Do you want to keep playing? And I can go, no, thank you. I'm good. I did your game. And I'm always nervous about finding the hidden caps in games like this. You know, like I played.
You just need to set your own goal.
Yeah,
like I do in Civ. Like I just set my own goals. Like,
well, you can win Civ. You can win, you know.
Yeah, but you know, I'm more interested in like, oh, do I just want to like wipe the map, or do I actually want to try a peace run, or you know?
I always go for economy. I love having lots of money and just buying all my troops instantly. That's kind of my preferred. But this could be fun. What I'm always nervous about with games like this is hidden caps. Like Tropico was a really fun game. El Presidente, all that, the music, the atmosphere, the island being your confines was a really cute idea in order to make sure the game didn't go too big. Because naturally, you know, like it's always weird when there's artificial barriers on like a SimCity kind of thing. However, there was a hidden population cap in that game. You'd reach a certain people size, and the game went, we're not going to go any further. So I had like all these airports and hotels, and no one was using them, and no one was filling them out, because they, for the sake of the game probably exploding and avoiding that explosion, they put a hidden population cap in there, and that was very sad. So I've been burned on Infinite Sims in the past.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I've never played that game, so I didn't even know what you meant until you said it by Infinite Cap.
Have you ever played any of the 2 Point games? Because they got a new one too, the 2 Point Campus.
Never heard of it.
2 Point Hospital is their big one. It's like, it's goofy. You know, you got your prison simulators, which are like, oh, like that's a little serious.
Oh, I have seen this hospital game. I guess I just didn't know it was called 2 Point Hospital.
Yeah, so 2 Point Hospital is a take on the hospital management simulator, but in a wacky way. Like you help people who have like clownism, or they're suffering from mime disease or whatever, and you cure them from it. Like it's super casual in that way.
Gotcha. It has an air of goofiness that something like the Sims has.
Yeah. Or even, what was SimTown, right? That was the real childlike one where...
I don't think I ever played SimTown.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure I know that exists.
It was like the baby version, you know, kind of back in the day. But 2 Point Campus is their new one where you manage a college. So I don't think that would ever get too serious or need the wackiness. But these are fun. They're not even resource management. They're people management games. They're flow management games, I think is what I've heard them called.
That makes sense. That makes sense, right? Like you could probably even like wrap this up in like a train or an airport simulator type thing too. Like,
Exactly. You need enough people stocking, the snacks to run the security to get people on the plane. You need enough planes. So it's all about getting people in the building, divided up into their different cubbies, and then those cubbies have cubbies, and those cubbies have cubbies, and depending on how deep you are into the tech tree, it could get pretty tough to manage. But it's a fun time warp for sure. This is one of those games where you'll look up 4 hours later. Maybe not even because you like are fully immersed or enjoying. It's just there's always something to do, always something to manage.
sick, man. I there are like no games on my radar besides I was said Thor Ragnarok, God of War Ragnarok.
Sure. Well, shares the rag and the rock.
I'm a dirty AAA player, and I don't keep an eye on these sorts of games until I am told by people I trust.
That's a fine way to work it. There's a lot of indie games, and it's great. Like I love the absolute wealth, the burden of indie games we have, but they do need to rise to the top. And Thor, I almost just did it. God of War Ragnarok. It's gonna be PlayStation exclusive. It's gonna do, it's still on 4, I believe, but 5 is where it's gonna come out too. And I bought a PlayStation to play God of War back in the day, so I'm not opposed to doing it again. What about Spider? You love Spider-Man games, right? There's the remastered Marvel Spider-Man coming out.
I believe, yeah. Is it already? I've seen a bunch of reviews. So the big deal is that it's coming to PC, and if you got a crazy PC, you can run it with crazy specs. I don't care because I have it on PS5, and I already beat it on PS4, so I've already seen the game with a pretty crazy visual upgrade.
Comes out tomorrow.
That is 100% the type of game that I want to be on a couch playing on the big screen.
Sure.
When I got my PS5, the game I bought with it was the special I forget, they had different editions, but whatever edition of Miles Morales also came with the full original Spider-Man PS4 game. So that was the very first thing I played on my PS5 when I got it. And it's so beautiful, dude. It's absolutely insane. And then when I upgraded my TV, because I finally got myself a nice LG OLED, it's massive. I went back and played it again, and holy shit. It's so pretty. I'm glad that it's coming out on. I'm glad that it's coming out on PC so that more of my friends are going to get to experience this game. But for me personally, don't care. I'm going to go play it on my TV like I've been playing it for a while now.
How'd you feel about the filler complaint? I heard there was a lot of like walking simulations where like Mary J would call you or whatever.
Walking. I mean, I guess there were. I don't remember walking. I remember swinging around and taking a call, but I just like swinging around. So if they want to give me exposition while I'm swinging around, no, that sounds like a really dumb complaint to me.
That's fair, it happens.
I am like zero chill in love with those two games though. So yeah, take that as it will.
So that was an expansion, right? Where you played as Miles Morales.
It was a standalone release. You didn't need the original game or anything like that. Okay. Yeah, it was a standalone release. I think if you just bought Miles Morales, I want to say it was like $20 cheaper or something like that. Don't think it was full. Maybe it was full price. That might have been the complaint.
That one sounds more fun because he's got more fun powers.
Yeah, he's got like electricity and shit. Yeah. I mean, they're both great. And the story in both are really good. They're properly solid Spider-Man adventures, man. And the voice acting is really good. I am part of the cult that thinks the original Peter Parker model looked better than the redone one when they brought it out for PS5.
What changed? Why?
So they completely changed what Peter Parker looked like, even though the entire game was the same.
Wait, Peter Parker out of his suit or Spider-Man in general?
Out of his suit. Oh, because there's a lot of scenes. If you play the original one, very light spoilers for a game that's been out for a long time, but like you're hanging out with Dr. Octavius like as an employee of his. So there's a lot of out of the suit Peter Parker scenes. And in the original one, he looked a little older. And then when it re-released on PS5 alongside Miles Morales, they made him look a lot younger to kind of look like a not quite Tom Holland.
Interesting.
I'm assuming. Yeah, it's not bad. It looks fine, but the story in the PS4 Spider-Man, which is what you're getting the remaster of on PC, is about an older Spider-Man. He's not like brand new, like, oh, I just became Spider-Man. He has been the friendly neighborhood superhero for some years now. So it made sense for him to look a little older. He didn't look crazy old, but he looked more like mid-20s rather than like 17.
So what was the problem then?
I just don't like the model as much.
Oh no, I'm just saying, like, why did they do it? Why did they choose to?
I'm assuming to make him look more like Tom Holland. I don't know.
Okay, that's fair. That is the Spider-Man. That is the Spider-Man of the time. When Disney does a Spider-Man, they have a voice match for Tom Holland in their parks. So yeah, they fully embraced it.
Yeah, and I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Don't get me wrong. There's honestly something I really like about everyone who's ever played Spider-Man. Since you and I have been born. I didn't watch the really old live action stuff, but from Tobey Maguire to now, there's something I like about all of them. But I digress. You want to talk news?
Let's get to it.
Good. Oh, great news, everyone. Shove it.
Kyle, I hear Netflix has really good games, but I have no idea how to play them.
So it's on your phone, right? These are phone games? Using the Netflix app?
That's part of the confusion.
Yeah.
It's part of the confusion. Headlines everywhere this week to something of the lines of Netflix has good games, but no one is playing them apparently. And I guess this all started with a CNBC article where they pulled some data from a website called Apptopia and realized that the games on Netflix have been downloaded a total of slightly over 23 million times and average 1.7 million daily users, which according to that, and CNBC went and did the math. That's less than 1% of Netflix's 221 million subscribers.
Okay, you open the Netflix app, then scroll down until you see the games row. There's no separate tab for the games altogether. Click on the game you want to play. That'll take you to the storefront of your device. At which point you are prompted to, it's like a launcher. You have to use Netflix to get the game. Then go into your app supplier to receive the game. And then you go back into the game once you've got it and select your Netflix account as the one you want to launch it under. So Netflix doesn't have games. Netflix is like Huluing out games.
Yes, but part of the confusion is like some of these games are games that exist that you could play with a controller on a TV. So like, why not also have that functionality on your TV app? You know, the app that you can install on a gaming console?
Right.
I'm sure it's a licensing thing, but
perhaps.
Yeah. And then, yeah, like what you just described. So that was a 3-part guide that's on Kotaku right now, which I actually found interesting because I knew they had games. I had no idea how to play them. And so it's so weird to me that you have to launch the app on your phone and it only works for iOS or Android. But then once you select that game from the app, then it like backdoors you into the app store for the phone that you're on to install a completely unrelated app.
Yeah, I would quit
as
so
if
fast.
you just got it from like, so what, whereas if you're using the Netflix app on your phone, everything you're watching is in the app. So why don't you also play the things in the app?
Yeah, I'd dip back out so quick. Anytime any service subscription has been like, do you want to watch live TV? I'm like, I guess, sure. Hurdles, jumping puzzles, just horrible interfaces. This sounds like one of those. I'm just not interested.
Oh, if you're looking for live TV, by the way, I have Sling, which isn't the best thing in the world. It's a little jank, but watching live TV on a phone is super freaking easy.
So they've got
I digress.
Some games. They've got Asphalt Extreme, Card Blast.
They have Into the Breach. They have Moonlighter.
They do.
One of your favorites.
You've named two that I reckon. I guess they have Stranger Things. They have Stranger Things.
They have 2 Stranger Things games. I've heard they're not great. I haven't played them, but
I've only ever. Kristen played through the first 2, and I watched while playing games myself. So I have really no idea what's going on. Wait, Stranger
Kristen
Things
played through the Stranger Things games?
No, I'm thinking of what's the? It's kind of Stranger Things. What's the one where the two girls and like there's a storm or something and like the people life is strange. Life is Strange.
Oh,
I got
completely
confused.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
How
dude,
could I
I know
confuse these
you
things?
both, and you don't really care for Stranger Things, so why the shit did she play through Stranger Things tie-in games?
I'm honestly shocked there's even been 3 of them. Wait, does
I
Stranger
don't believe
Things...
there has. Actually, I think there's only been 2 of them.
Wait,
But one of them was number 3, but it was about
Oh.
the season number 3.
Oh, because it's
It wasn't
Stranger
the third
Things
game.
3, the game. So 1984 was Stranger Things 1. Stranger Things 3 is the game. Jeez. All right.
I think not it would. Although I would think it's very odd if they made multiple Stranger Things games, but all of them weren't on the Netflix game tie-in. So
I got to look up Into the Dead 2 Unleashed. It sounds awful. Let's see. Let's see what we got here.
are you pulling up? Because I'm Googling it in background.
Oh, it's not on Steam. Is this not a real game? It's an app game. So some of these are just apps. Some of these are app games.
Yeah. Oh, this just looks like a really mediocre first-person shooter.
Okay.
Oh boy. Yeah, this don't look great.
So some of these are games, but that probably means that Moonlighter has an app version?
Well, that's how this works. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
want to play Moonlighter, it would then download a version of Moonlighter for your phone.
So this isn't like an emulator of them actually Netflix's Moonlighter. Ah, okay. So you like get the Netflix version off Netflix.
But it's the full game. Like the Into
Yeah.
the so did you hear about that giant Into the Breach update like a couple of weeks ago?
I did. I haven't checked it out yet.
So that I think was in line with it hitting Netflix. I thought. Maybe not. But the full version with that new update is playable through the Netflix version. It's just full on normal ass proper Into the Breach. And it's
Okay.
updated. So that's what's so weird about it is it has some really solid titles. Things I would love to play on my phone that I haven't played on my phone, like Into the Breach. But it's confusing. And I even remember hearing about this like early last year. There was like a Netflix, I think it was an earnings call or something, and the CEO was putting out a call like admitting like, hey, we're looking for devs. So even all the way back then, my brain was like, oh, Netflix is going to get in the games. That makes sense. But I was thinking more like Game Pass, because I keep describing Game Pass as Netflix for games. So why wouldn't Netflix try and do their own version of that?
Right.
And this is so far from what Microsoft has accomplished with Game Pass.
What was the Netflix mail game service back in the day? Because
Gamefly?
Yeah, Gamefly, man. I have used Gamefly.
Oh yeah, I use Gamefly. Gamefly was the shit. It was that window. It was the post death of Blockbuster, but Game Pass hadn't come along yet.
I just mean they kept giving me free trials and I would take them every time and then get, a few months of gaming, like back to back using different emails. They had no protection for their service. They did not care if I used the same address. I rented some games in post-college life there, 2009.
Yeah.
Rough times.
So
Rough times.
Anyway, it's like I want them to push this so much further because boy, that would be a lovely added value to my Netflix sub that I increasingly cannot justify because I'm watching less and less Netflix as the minutes tick by. But yeah, now Kyle, all I want to do is talk about how much I liked Blockbuster when it was competing with Netflix in the early days, like when you would still get DVDs mailed to you from Netflix. Do you remember this? Did you ever take advantage of this?
What happened? What'd they do? What'd they try?
So in the waning days of Blockbuster's life, they tried to compete with Netflix, where you go to like blockbuster.com and you could rent a movie and they would just mail it to you. But the cool thing about it was if you returned it at a Blockbuster location, you got like a freebie rental from the location. So I would just chain.
Oh, interesting.
I would just chain rentals, and I loved it. I ended up using it over Netflix, but then Blockbuster died, and so did that service. This is an extremely weirdly specific memory. I remember using this a lot near the tail end of college, which was like the last dying breaths of Blockbuster.
No, so we rented the Black Cauldron. A personal story here, but we rented the Black Cauldron, which, with Gurgi and all that. It's a cool, dark movie, but they added Gurgi, and that's my review. For some reason, they thought we didn't return it, so my dad did the you just lost a customer thing to Blockbuster, because they wanted to charge us, like $17.99 or something to start using our account again, because they thought we had stolen the Black Cauldron back in the day. So we went to Hastings Your Entertainment Superstore, a local New Mexico joint. And I played video games so differently back then. Like now I do a lot more getting my dollar. You know, I do something, I like make up projects for myself, and I completionist, I get achievements. Back in the day, it was just like story. I don't have time for side quests. This is a rental, and I would haul through my weekend.
Oh yeah, man, dude. I back in the day, like before I had an N64, I remember renting an N64 from Blockbuster. This is like birthday weekend, and it's not time for the new console yet because I would always get. I wouldn't get the next gen until the price would drop at least once. That's when I would get like my next console growing up. And so yeah, it was like, all right, birthday party this weekend. I don't have an N64, and that's what everyone's playing. I guess we're renting one. And like the big like ballistic clamshell case that would come in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
The old rubber band that the Rumble Pack would be attached with.
Oh, I can smell it, man.
You can smell the rubber band.
Well, the whole kit and caboodle. Like you open it, and it's because in Florida,
the hot plastic.
It heats up in there a little bit. Yeah, you get that hot plastic, that hot electronic plastic smell. Smells like headshots, Kyle.
You know what? Like photos, like good photos in a folder.
No, like in GoldenEye with
headshots.
a silenced PP7.
Okay, never mind. Here in town we have like the Luigi van that drives around. It's not a van, it's a trailer. You know, a guy's got a big truck and he's got the gamer trailer on the back, and that's always going through my neighborhood as I guess birthday parties. Kids rent the gaming trailer for Fortnite and all play inside of it.
I see those around every once in a while, and I guess it's like rent a LAN party, right?
Yeah, it's like a classic school bus or mobile library.
Oh.
You know what was?
You remember the book fair, man?
Yeah,
we're just going full member berries now.
Well, you know what was really cool? I always liked when the like fake burning building would come to the school and they do the fire safety thing, where they get you all inside.
We never had that,
and the fire alarm would go off, and so you'd have to like crawl, and they have a smoke machine going, and all the firefighters were like, "Go kids, go, crawl, escape the building." That was fun.
Now I'm just wondering if that was like not okay because I went to a Catholic school, and they're like, "No, we're not bringing a fire simulation to a Catholic school.
Could be
too close to hell."
Could be. This wasn't while I was in Florida. Second grade was when they were really big, so it was a Florida thing. I can confirm.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that, dude. You want to talk about being a choir boy or an altar boy, or the Harvest Festival, which is something that would happen in the church parking lot.
Sure.
I can, yeah. Did you ever just sidebar? This won't go long, but I'm just curious if you ever ended up watching. Did you watch Midnight Mass on Netflix?
No. Is it good? Is it something?
Yeah, it's probably
is it spooky?
It's one of my favorite shows, and yes, it is spooky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a one-off. It is a one-season miniseries. You watch it and you're done. And it's very good, and it's exactly what being an altar boy is like.
No, I haven't had Netflix subscription since they really kind of dropped the ball on their homemade things, and then they kept recommending I watch their homemade things, which I was like, yeah, no, I know what you're doing. Like you got your exclusive, you make more money if I watch those. But I'm watching. It's like they're all awful, right? I finished Prey, and it's like, hey, let's fire up Rick and Morty. I'm like, kind of adjacent, but. You got all the alien movies. You got all the alien movies right now, Hulu. Recommend something real. Like, come on.
Like, at least I could go, Alien versus Predator sucks. I'll get that joke out, but at least I'll understand why you're recommending it.
Exactly. A little more focus.
Yeah. Anyway, that's going on. You mentioned New Mexico. I saw this and I immediately thought of you, and then it made my brain explode because I love Breaking Bad. And if you watch us stream, you and I have already had at least 3 like 30-minute long conversations about how much I love that show and how completely disinterested you are in anything that just involves real people. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's just real people and there's no monsters, Kyle Ferguson doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't want to watch it.
I do want to make what we're gonna do. We're gonna do reviews today. I want to make it abundantly clear that I watch movies so I can find a movie I'm gonna watch again. And sometimes you watch a great movie that you can only like watch once, like Avatar. James Cameron's Avatar. Like, I just have no interest to see it again. It was great. Like, I had a good time.
It's an okay movie that was highly entertaining, and I never need to watch again.
Yeah, it was just so big and thick and kind of one-notey in that way that, I don't need to watch. And then there's like Shawshank Redemption where you're like, wow, that was amazing. Let's not watch that again either, though, because, it's very serious and sad. And so, that's my goal when I watch movies. I want to find something I can put on, like, for the rest of my life.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I get excited about that, but it's so rare. But I love one-offs, like most A24 films for me. Like, I love them. Anytime I see a new A24 horror film, like The Witch, that's one of them. Like when they drop a new horror film, I'm like, I'm gonna watch this, and I'm probably never gonna watch it again. But they are some of my favorite movies. If you ask me, like, hey, what's some of your favorite horror movies? I could rattle off multiple A24 horror films, and most of them I will probably not revisit. The Witch freaks me out. That movie is so disturbing and so dark, but it's so well made. The artistry, the dedication to the craft of filmmaking in that movie is unlike most scary movies I've watched.
Dude, that poor director. That poor director. Everyone gave him shit because of the lighting quality throughout the movie. And, like, in particular, well, because it was like a historical piece, The Witch, right? It was, it was historical.
The lighting is what part of what's so good about it.
I know, but, like, he was like, it's historically accurate, and then he had too many candles, and like everyone on YouTube and Twitter was trying to hassle him. He's like, I gotta light my scene. I am aware that people living in the woods would not have more than one candle, but you needed to see the kid on the floor. I can't help you anymore.
I was unaware of this, and you just made me hate the human race even more. So thank you for that, Kyle.
Right.
Anyway, to get to the point I was slowly moving towards is you're not interested in Breaking Bad.
Okay.
But when I saw this headline, my brain exploded because apparently Vince Gilligan, the creator of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, once really wanted to make a Grand Theft Auto-like Breaking Bad game.
Okay.
And I don't know how you think or how you categorize Grand Theft Auto. Like, to me, the core of a GTA game, the absolute, like, soul of the game is what city a GTA takes place in.
Okay.
Vice City, it's Florida cranked up to 11, Miami, Vice City, or not Vice City, Liberty City is New York, and whatever, I forget what their fake California is, but it's Southern California. That is what makes a GTA, because the characters are mostly forgettable, except Tommy Vercetti, but which is kind of just a Scarface ripoff now that I think about it. I digress. Have you ever even cracked the surface on Breaking Bad as someone who grew up in and has a deep love of New Mexico? Because it's like half of the show is this visual love letter to Albuquerque.
I am aware of a lot of parts of it, particularly when he throws a Pokeball at a building. That gif was very, very popular. But, what was the Zootopia? Even Zootopia had, like, a prolonged Breaking Bad joke where they were mixing the feral juices that made the predators all go crazy.
I remember very little about Zootopia. I just thought the sloth was funny.
Yeah, the sloth was funny. Yeah, the sloth was funny, and there was good chemistry and all that. It was cute enough. So I've absorbed a lot of side things. I'm not aware of New Mexico outside of the house that they threw the pizza on and, like, some longing shots, and of course the opening scene where he's teaching class is filmed in the high school I went to and graduated.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah, so I was in that room.
I feel like I've been shocked about this before, and then I forget. And then I get shocked about it. That was
the room I had science class in there. So. Yeah,
oh my god. Okay, cute. So that high school just showed up in Better Call Saul last week. By the way, right, they had a new scene at that high school.
Yeah. Rio Rancho High is not above selling out a bit.
But yeah, so I'm curious. Like, would you? Clearly not going to happen. But I'm just curious. Like, would Kyle Ferguson play a GTA game if it was set in a fictional rendition of New Mexico State?
Absolutely, 100%. GTA. I played a lot of 3, and to me, of course, being when 3 came out, it was all about messing around. Seeing how many cops you could piss off until the tanks show up. And
we were the perfect age, which is to say, slightly too young to have been playing that game, but we were playing it anyway. There had never been an open world game like that before. That game blew my mind the first time I played it. That was a birthday party. That was a friend brought it over. It was my birthday. Everyone slept over, all my buddies, and we stayed up all night. We didn't sleep a wink because someone brought GTA 3, and only the person who brought it had played it before. Everyone else there was experiencing it for the first time, and we couldn't believe the shenanigans you could get up to in that game.
Right. Was that one of the ones where you could run from the cops and get the paint real quick and then you pull in, or am I thinking of Need for Speed?
Yeah, you go into like the quick stop and the garage would come down and it would fix your car too as well. Like it would repair it if you were about to blow up.
So we would go to the hospital, right outside the hospital, and grab the rocket launcher that was nearby and just unleash hell. And then once you were at max stars, you would try to get to the paint shop. Yep. And that was the goal. Like that was the whole game. Then you'd pass the controller or pass the keyboard, what have you. And then you'd play again. We did this a lot with the Phantom Menace game. That was great. Tatooine. You could piss off all the Jawas, and they would start whipping out miniguns. Like, they designed for that. Like, literally, like, garage doors.
I don't think I've ever played the Phantom Menace game.
It's bad. But, like, garage doors would open up with Jawas on, like, minigun turrets. You could cause that entire city to go to hell. It was awesome. And then Jedi Knight Outcast. You could use commands to spawn like 20 Luke Skywalkers to fight 30, I think Desans, I think was the bad guy, the T-Rex evil Jedi in that game. And then if you engaged a cutscene while you had all those things spawned, it would keep going. So you'd be talking to Luke, who would be like, and he'd be like, you must go to the other side of the guy. And behind, like, 30 Lukes are fighting 30 Desans. And like, it was chaos. I loved it. At any rate, Breaking Bad in New Mexico, I would play it because I played the hell out of Fallout 3. And when I was growing up, my grandma lived in the DC metro area. So I knew the DC metro very, very well. And while it wasn't perfectly replicated by any means in Fallout 3, that elevated that to such a degree, like going to the Natural History Museum, knowing where the Washington Monument was so huge. Hell yeah, I've granted New Mexico, you know, it's probably changed a lot, to be honest, since I grew up there. But you got one big highway. You got the I-4 eyesore. Oh, no, that's in Florida. That's
in Florida.
It's called the Big Eye. It was called the Big Eye, which is like where all the roads, the highways would cross, and it kind of looked like an eyeball because you had the two going top and the two going through the middle, and from above it looked like an eye. So there are all these jingles about like take the bus instead of the eye, like going in local commercials. It'd be fun. It'd be fun. I guess it would work because you'd be driving around dealing drugs, like he does.
Building your own like empire. Like you could have like a base building thing. Like you could totally make a crime game out of a vague connection to Breaking Bad.
You do the drugs, or you give the drugs,
and then it would make headlines because you're making drugs, and
right.
Parents would be mad.
Sure, yeah, and then you're
tonight
like,
at 11 is the new Breaking Bad game teaching your children how to cook meth.
And then you say, I say we're done when I say I'm done, and the Star Wars guy shows up and like makes a face and you fall through the floor. Like that's my understanding of Breaking Bad.
Star Wars guy? Oh, Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah,
I guess he is the Star Wars guy. He's just the villain guy now, though there's rumors he's going to be our next Professor X, and I'm very down with that.
Oh, then I think he would pull that off great.
Right?
Yeah, he'd be great.
It's rare these days he gets to play a good guy, and I think he does it well. He does like earnest kindness well too. Like he's not just good at villains. Anyway,
I mean, to be fair, Xavier is kind of a dick. Like go watch some of those old cartoons.
Yeah. He's like angry Gandalf.
Yeah,
he's got angry wizard energy.
Serious lack of patience, which makes sense when you can like see the future or read other people's minds. Like talking would be such a waste of time. And frankly, every X-Men is trying to waste time except for Cyclops.
Which is why he's Professor X's pet.
And why he's my favorite, exactly.
He's the worst.
So is this happening, or was this just a thing that will never...
It's sounding more and more convincing. I guess he went and had a meeting at HQ, which poured gasoline on top of this rumor.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see. It's rumor.
Yeah.
Rumor, speculation. There was one more piece of news I wanted to talk about. However, it also requires explaining viral things on Twitter, which last week you said you hate social media so much that we should just make a segment where I explain to you why things are going viral on Twitter, which brings us to this week's first of 2 new segments. Welcome to what I want to start calling the meme mosh, where I explain to Kyle why there's a mess on the internet.
Okay, perfect.
So, yeah. Hey, have you heard of the game Forspoken?
Not exactly. So this is the one with the weird voiceover, right? Like it's a kind of fantasy wizard game, but it's sport and attitude, like that scale thing. What was that? There was like that canceled rocker he put on his earphones kind of thing, and he was gonna ride dragons and stuff, and they straight up just canned it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think it was a PS4 launch title that they were doing. But this isn't an unknown, this isn't quite, from the outside, it kind of looks like a kid in King Arthur's court kind of thing. Like they're bringing real world attitude to a fantasy realm.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you could just call it the Marvel thing, right? Like the self-referent, like the self-aware protagonist.
Scalebound,
like,
yeah, chat got me. Scalebound was that old game.
I don't remember this at all.
It's kind of like Devil May Cry and.
So you're aware of this?
Yeah, I saw the trailer for this back. I believe this was part of the big, was it the Microsoft thing?
I think Forspoken's been shown a few times.
Yeah, it was one of the big conventions I watched.
The last 2, I want to say, like summer E3 seasons, even though there hasn't been an E3 in a while. Yeah. So have you seen the specific advertisement they recently came out with on Twitter?
No. So what?
So you have the power to bring it up for the viewers, but also play audio that our dear listeners can hear, right?
So let me get this straight. I'm somewhere that's not what I would call Earth. I'm seeing freaking dragons and...
Freaking dragons?
Oh yeah, I'm talking to a cuff. Yeah, okay, that is something I do now. I do magic, kill jacked up beasts. I'll probably fly next.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you can stop it there.
Okay.
And this is something that the Forspoken ad team is doing now.
Right. So they've taken the words that were part of that trailer and now put them as the appearing words that happen in your TikTok kind of viral video thing, so people can watch.
Yeah. Even though this is Square, so it makes it seem more like a old school video for Instagram. Doesn't matter. However. Well, first, Kyle, do you think that is an effective piece of advertising or not?
I mean, she's like wearing normal tennis shoes, right? So is she kid in King Arthur's courting here? Is she from the real world and now she ended up? The tennis shoes are kind of neat.
I have absolutely no idea, but it does kind of look like tennis shoes. I didn't notice that before.
This is you gotta wait and see this kind of product, right? Like this is like a movie trailer that comes up and it's like everybody's talking about it. Shrek, and all the characters say the name of the main character. I hate those trailers because basically it's saying everyone's doing it, won't you? All the cool kids saw Shrek. I don't know what this is about. It could be fresh, like a grumbly, your main hero hates what they're doing and they don't want to be there. And
I think it could work in the game.
Yeah.
We're just talking about the marketing.
We're just talking about the marketing here.
We're not asking you if you think it will work in the game, because I agree with you. I think it could. But this is like if you just cut together, like you don't know what Uncharted is, and they just decided cram all of the Nathan Drake wittiness we possibly can into a 30-second thing for a new IP that no one knows anything about. And
no, I hate it.
To me, this is horribly cringy.
Yeah, no, this is not great.
So I've given you some links here in the show notes, Kyle.
Okay.
You want to click on this, the one that says Bloodborne?
Okay. Do I need sound for this? What should I?
Yes, you definitely need sound.
Okay, here we go.
You
Hang
100% need sound.
Okay, here we go.
So let me get this straight. I'm somewhere that's not what I would call England. I'm seeing freaking werewolves.
I'm somewhere
Oh, the other one's still going.
Are we doubling?
So let me get this straight.
It's so unremarkable. They were both playing at the same time and we couldn't tell. Okay. okay. You know, it's all right. So the internet grabbed on to the viral, the corporate, we're going to viral everybody kind of marketing. And people are making off versions of this trailer with other games. That's cute.
Yeah, do me a favor. There's one more you just got to see. Please click on the Metal Gear Solid link.
Oh, because this game makes all the sense in the world. Yeah, let's do it. Let's rock it.
Yeah, let's get some sound for this too.
Let me get this straight. I'm somewhere after the end of the Cold War. I'm fighting freaking mobile bipedal nuclear launch systems, and I'm talking to
an anime fan.
You know,
the anime fan.
Yeah.
Dude, I was sitting here eating my lunch alone in my office before the show, and I saw that one, and I spit out my leftover burrito bowl.
These are really cute. You know, these aren't made with malice. I like this. This is a good meme. It's a good meme.
It is. It's a fun meme. It's one that points out the cringiness without being mean.
Right, because people are taking that idea and applying it to other games. And if you were to go through any game and cut out all the lackluster moments. Now, the weird part, of course, is that Forsaken is choosing to advertise themselves primarily.
It's Forspoken.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Forspoken. We are running out of words, so we're just having to make words up for the titles of our games.
Prey didn't care.
That's a very good point. Prey didn't care. How many times have we heard, are you aware that there's a video game studio called Grinding Gear?
Yeah, it happens.
I'm just like, yes, it's also a thing you do in a game.
Interesting. This is such an odd mix for Forspoken because they're going with this very Elden Ring font. And even the visuals are very like, you're going to lock on and do the Dark Souls roll and you're going to have some cinematic spell powers. But for the most part, looks like there's going to be a lot of running a la Assassin's Creed with magic.
Yes.
So
that game looks okay. Looks like a game I would play.
But
we'll see.
Their advertising campaign's super weird.
Yeah, this one's a bit strange. This one's a bit strange.
I like it. I like this.
Only you would catch the damn sneakers. I didn't catch the sneakers. But
the sneakers are cool. Like that, if anything, elicits my curiosity because they're like lighting up, and that's a cool look. The same thing happened with that Scalebound game. Like, yeah, it was ridiculous. He was fighting dragons while putting in earbuds. But you kind of go, oh, what are you doing here? How is this magic system gonna work? You got like some blue blazer powers, and I guess the cuff talking to you. There's some bells going off where you're like, oh no, like the main character is gonna talk all the time, and their cuff, I guess, is gonna talk all the time, and it's just gonna be a Deckard Cain scroll on the ground. Everybody's always talking, and you're just like, just let me immerse. And one of the problems always being when you get later in those games and they just stop talking because you ran out of material. You've played too long and you're like, oh man, the world's kind of empty now, kind of dead. I guess I played the video game too long. Awkward.
So what would the one for Final Fantasy be for 14? Would it be so somewhere I wouldn't quite call Azeroth.
Yeah. I'm fighting bosses from other video games.
I'm seeing freaking callbacks, and I'm talking to two identical white-haired children.
And this doesn't get good till 100 hours? Where am I? Because she's talking outside the world, right? Super, yeah. Any of these would be bad. I can't think of a good game that this would look good for.
I do magic. I kill jacked up primals.
Uh-huh. And I'm managing my inventory? Like
I'll probably glam next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And powers look
That's what we're doing.
All right, we'll see.
That's what we're doing.
When's this coming out? What is Forspoken supposed to be?
Let's go. We've had our fun. I actually think this is a game I might want to play. Let's do release date that they'll probably not hit. Oh no, they've already called it. They've already said it's January 24th of next year. So they're already not even trying to get this out before Christmas.
Oh wait, this is a Square Enix deal. Were they the Scalebound?
Yes.
Were they Scalebound too?
Yeah, well, Square is a large umbrella, right? The developer on this is Luminous.
Okay, Scalebound was Microsoft Studios. They were trying to make an Xbox One exclusive in 2017. But this is, so this is Square. That's, because you weren't familiar with Stranger of Paradise when we fought Chaos last week in the Omega raid.
No.
So they're capable of playing the funny edgy. This seems like a different characterization, but man, Square Enix being tied to it, I have no idea what this is anymore.
Square has a lot of things that are not Square.
Yeah, it's very hit or miss. Internally, sometimes there's tales of like kind of an old producers club where basically the top end keeps getting their games verified, new ideas have struggles, rising up. So that's why we have so many bizarre Square Enix games.
Well, didn't they sold off Eidos, who made the new Tomb Raider games and Deus Ex. So the Square Enix no longer owns the Eidos studios.
Oh right, yeah, they got rid of all those. Weird.
Yeah, that was relatively recent.
Last year.
Okay, back in May.
Okay.
Back in May. I went to the Embracer Group, who's buying up everything. Seems like everything they can get their hands on. Don't really know who they are.
I guess it's not Tencent, so that gives me some comfort.
Hold on, because you don't know. They might be like 75% owned by.
That's 5%. Usually Tencent sticks to like 5%, but then they muscle around a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Essentially, I think that was with that. It was like basically Square getting rid of all their Western studios, which. Honestly, sounds like a good thing. They kind of treat their Western studios like giant scapegoats.
Sure.
I'll have to dig it up. There's some interesting stuff coming out. I think of one of the heads of Eidos now that they're not with Square anymore. They basically just roasted the leadership of Square, being like, yeah, they just blame shit on us. It was horrible. Don't quote me on this. I'm pulling from memory. I don't have the things up in front of me. That's a discussion for another day. But yes, Embracer Group, Swedish video game. I didn't come here to talk about this. I just wanted to laugh about.
No, yeah, but it's hard not to talk about because they're making an open world magic system. Like it could be extremely empty. It could actually be really cool. It looks very Assassin's Creed-y in some parts, some Dark Souls. Like it is such a mashup. This game's gonna be fascinating to see release and what the final product is. Because looking from the outside, it's a buffet.
And as long as it doesn't just like 1-to-1 try and rip off Souls-like combat, I'm in, because that killed Assassin's Creed for me.
It's like going to Golden Corral. There's some good items in there, but you're just not sure looking from the outside.
I have never been to a Golden Corral.
Oh, okay. You're not missing anything.
They look like diarrhea from the outside.
You need to visit your grandparents more.
I did a lot when they were still with me.
Yeah.
We never went to Golden Corral.
They never took you to Golden Corral? Okay.
No, we were like an Olive Garden family. That was if I was hanging out with my dad's parents, that was Olive Garden.
Your line in the sand is drawn. Olive Garden.
I'm not a buffet guy, man. Katie is though, so we do end up at Chinese buffets rather often, but I don't like buffets.
I have not been to a buffet in a long time.
Jeez, I wonder why. I wonder if something happened that would make you not want to eat in a communal food trough.
Weird, right? Get in line, walk down the thing, a little plexiglass,
Watch the retiree sneeze on the food in front of you before you get up to the tongs. Yeah, it's great.
Not appealing for some reason.
Well, it's wonderful. I do like the German buffet at Epcot. That thing is heaven after you've drank all day.
That weird thing in the back with the sausages?
Yeah.
I've never been in there. Is it good?
Yeah. It's a buffet, so the shit's not the best thing in the world. But when you've walked around the world drinking all day, it's oh my God, man, it's a religious experience. But are you ready? Are you ready for the second of our two news segments this week?
Bring it.
It's over, Anakin!
Shut your eyes, Mary, and don't look at it no matter what happens. Iron Man.
This is post credits, our new spoiler-filled segment, which we will bring back whenever Kyle and I finish something, get to the end of something, and we got to the end of two things this week. Well, I got to the end of one of these two things years ago, but you got to the end of God of War this week, so we're going to talk about that. But we're also going to talk about a movie, because we're like, we got to talk about this on Ground and Gear, right? Like, we should probably just wave the spoiler flag. Do you have a graphic you're going to put up for video watchers?
Yeah. I'll put up a little spoiler action here, so anybody coming by can kind of see that we'll be in the thick of it.
Cool. Yeah. And the spoilers for Prey are about to begin. We technically, do you put a number if it's a prequel?
Is
there a higher numbered movie that is a prequel? I can't think of one.
didn't we go inside of a Predator ship and there was like Spartan or like Old Warrior stuff?
Predator 2, you go inside of the Predator ship with Danny Glover?
Yeah, Danny Glover. Yeah. And he sees things from like old times. But this is, according to the description, the first Predator arriving on the planet. Which is why...
Oh, is that what it says in the script? I just watched the movie. If it wasn't covered in the movie, I didn't pick it up.
Which is why the Predator's all confused. Like, he shows up and he's like, Snake, are you the biggest are you the biggest hunt on this planet? He messes up a snake and he's like, no, that wasn't it. And he sees a wolf and he's like, are you the biggest predator on the planet? Messes up the wolf. But the gun, the Danny Glover connection, that was cute. That was cute. I like that.
Yeah.
Which was also like
deep cut, because like, who likes Predator 2?
I
mean, I
like
kind of
Predator 2.
I don't think it's a good movie, but I think it's a really fun one.
It is, yeah. It has a good escalation as the warring factions try to decide what's happening in there, and I like how Danny Glover, as opposed to Arnold Schwarzenegger, is using like cop tactics to figure it out. It's cute. It's not great, and there's some real just groaner scenes throughout it. But yeah, Predator 2 has a soft spot, but that also reveals that. Ooh, a little dark note there. I guess the Predator's got the gun back. Whoops.
Yeah.
I guess they collected it at some point.
Well, wait, or I guess she did bring the gun to the. Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't know. I mean, it could be just they die of old age, and then the Predator's like, oh, I remember this thing. I'm going to take this.
True. The Predators don't seem the vengeful type, right? Like, you win fair and square. They're not going to show up and be like,
no, they're honor bound.
Yeah.
They have a code. They have a code that they operate by, and it's like part of what makes the monster so freaking cool. Because they're not just a mindless killing machine. They have rules that they operate by. But so before we get, quick, make this as brief as you can. What's your relationship with Predator? Like, did you grow up with it? Because I was freaking obsessed with Predator as a kid.
Okay, Predator 1 I didn't see until late college for the first time.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, Predator 1 was definitely one of those movies I shouldn't have watched when I watched it.
Sure, yeah, we all have those. It
was after I saw the first two Aliens. But if you have parents that care more about swearing than violence, Predator was a much bigger, oh my god, you watched what, than the Aliens films.
It was also the 80s though, so there was weird things hidden in everything. Like, there was a cartoon show for Ghostbusters. I watched Ghostbusters when I was really, really young. There were toys for Ghostbusters. I loved Ghostbusters, but there's still that scene with Dan Aykroyd in the bed, it's kind of weird. But that was basically
they had RoboCop toys. They had Starship Troopers toys. Like,
that's true.
Who's letting their kid watch these?
Well, those two
I had
particularly,
Aliens
like,
toys.
melting people in the. I mean, definitely. I think I'm not. This isn't a rare statement, but the melting guy in RoboCop is one of the most disturbing scenes in cinema, at least as a kid.
For me, at the beginning, disturbed me more.
Sure,
like
when
he gets shot up.
Yeah.
That really bothered me. I don't know why I was watching that as a kid. Probably because there were toys and it made me think that it was for kids.
Again, that was the advertising, right? Everyone wanted to be Star Wars, and everyone was super edgy, and there was usually a boob somewhere like that. It was just the 80s. That's how it went down.
Starship Troopers are boobs everywhere.
I didn't have a big Arnold Schwarzenegger phase though.
No, dude, he's my action hero.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Stallone guy. And yeah, Schwarzenegger, that's who I grew up with. Like, I still think Terminator 2 is the best action film ever made. Like, I don't think anything's better. It's just such a perfect movie. And part of that is Schwarzenegger, but the first Predator, dude, that's one of my favorite movies. I love it. I was obsessed with it as a kid, and I still love it now. And I probably watch it like every 2 years. I'll watch Predator 1.
It's good. I love the false start. I think that's the best thing about the movie. Is just how it has nothing to do with aliens when you initially invest.
So did you dig it when you watched it in college?
Oh yeah, no, I thought it was great. I actually ended up seeing Aliens vs. Predator first because I really like the Aliens movies.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So there's a long track here. I was at a sleepover, and this was a really big sleepover. It was lock-in. And I come out of the computer lab, and people are watching movies. And it just so happens to be the scene in Aliens 2 where she goes, kill me, and I was like, whoa, like my brain broke. Most disturbing thing I'd ever seen at the time. Distressing. But that started my cure. What the hell is aliens? What's going on? So I didn't know. I didn't see any of the movies because they were all rated R, or I was afraid they'd be too spooky, which they probably were. But I ended up playing Aliens vs. Predator, the game. Now, only the alien and the predator part, because the human part was too spooky. I avoided it. I really got stressed out easily. I had a friend beat the Shadow Temple in.
You were a very delicate soul.
Yes, in Zelda 64, right? Was Shadow Temple right? Shadow.
That was Shadow Temple. Yeah, it was scary as shit. Yeah, Shadow Temple scared the shit out of me, man.
Yeah, I had a friend beat that for me. Like I just did not.
Oh wow, okay, I wasn't that bad, but yeah, it did definitely spooked me.
Yeah, like I saw Independence Day and lost the whole night of sleep. Like I was just very susceptible.
What?
Dude.
Independence Day.
Dude, growing up in New Mexico, aliens were the most terrifying real world thing, and constantly with the age of FBI, Mulder Scully, X-Files on. Yeah. Like aliens were real. And in New Mexico, you could not convince a kid otherwise. So aliens are really, really spooky.
So you would not be able to join the bare naked ladies because you would not be able to watch X-Files with no lights on.
No, I would not watch X-Files. No, particularly the scene with the lights where like the gnats, the little bugs come in and like carry people up into hives and stuff. I've watched it after the fact.
I've never watched X-Files.
It's entertaining. It's episodic. It's kind of boring. I wish it was more linear now that I'm adult and I've tried it out. But anyway. So I played the AVP games, loved them, and I love the multiplayer. So I saw all the movies, and I've actually seen all these except for. Wait, this says 6. So this is actually the 7th movie?
No, what? No,
they're not. So in
Predator 1, Predator 2. You've got Predators, you've got The Predator, and now we have Prey.
They're not counting the AVP movies in their line.
No one does. They're garbage. But also, you shouldn't count The Predator because it's actually worse than either two of the AVP movies. The Predator is one of the worst movies ever made.
I had no interest in seeing that. It looked bad from the outside.
You don't.
I liked Requiem. Requiem was a bit of a surprise. I kind of liked it. I saw it in theaters. I expected... This is the Jurassic Park kind of thing where people go in expecting nothing and popcorn and they have a good time. Like,
I mean, I saw AVP once, so I went in expecting nothing, and they still managed to make a worse movie.
It took place in like a small town, and everybody. This was also during that time period. You know, when you're a kid and late teen, and you love everything where everybody's expendable. Like it's just like the hottest thing on the block. Battle Royale, like all these sort of movies are just the coolest thing on the planet. When someone you thought was a main character dies in like the final scene, you just think this is the classiest bit of cinema you've ever seen. So AVP Requiem came out at the right time, 2007 for me. I will, though, now that I'm done memeing, I will go to bat that Predators 2010 with Adrian Brody is amazing. And I love that film.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Okay, yeah, dude, I am a massive Predators stan. I think that movie is wildly underrated, and I freaking love it. So,
Lawrence Fishburne, Topher Grace is in there for like, he seems so out of place, but he does a great job.
No, but it works. Yeah. If you haven't seen it, I will not spoil Predators. I will spoil Prey, because that's what we came here to do.
Drawing a line.
Drawing a line. But if you haven't seen Predators, go see it. The Topher Grace's casting is freaking perfect.
Yeah, he does a good job.
So perfect.
He does a good job.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I love Predators. I'm probably going to watch it this weekend because it's actually been a while, and Prey reminded me how much I love Predators. But yeah.
So by chance, I'm actually a bigger Predator fan than you. I like more Predator movies than you do.
I mean, if that's how it works, I would say you're a Predator fan of more lax taste.
Fluffy, perhaps?
Yeah. You are to Predator as I am to Star Wars. It's kind of like, oh, it's all fine.
Yeah,
it's like it's all
aliens,
good.
Whatever. Like shoot your nuts.
It's all good.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Good.
Press your 80s buttons. Go beep boop.
I really hate the AVP movies, and I think Requiem is worse than the first one. Like I think I really dislike Requiem.
The temple, the thing wasn't there's a great actor though in that one.
Well, they got what's his name that played Bishop.
Oh right, Bishop. Yeah,
Wayland.
Bishop was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I digress. So, all right. So what'd you think of Prey? Because to me, I finally have a third Predator movie that I love.
I thought it was really solid.
Yeah.
Yes. I had a really.
I was worried. I'm always worried when I like a movie and I know I'm going to talk to you about it.
No, I'm just really curious about The Predator, which you told me not to watch, and it sounds awful. It looks awful, but Prey was extremely well crafted. They thought of so many things in advance. they really planned out all of her powers, if you want to call them. I mean, coming from like kind of a Marvel universe, it's easy to call them powers.
She felt like a character in a video game where you have very specific abilities that you tap into. Like you have agility. Like so the main character in Prey, to me, I was like, all right, so she's like an agility character, and she has first aid and tracking abilities. Like I like the beginning of this movie. It's kind of slow, and I've seen some people complaining about it being slow, but I really like how we kind of just sink our teeth in to our protagonist, the world that she inhabits, and how it sets up what she's capable of.
That's how you do a Predator movie, though, because you need to build the battlefield. You have to establish what is available to you, and that's something that Predators 2 did really badly, because we kept going to all these random, like, we went to like a electric facility or something. Like we kept changing locations.
Yeah, Predator 2 was more of a shoot 'em up with a predator in it, more than it was a hunt, like a hide and seek movie like the first Predator.
This reminded me of, and you need that edge to it. This reminded me of, was it 28 Days Later, where Scarecrow takes off his shirt and runs around?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah. Where Murphy's running around.
One of my favorite actors.
Yeah, and going for it. Like, you gotta build the set and then use what you have. And they did such a good job with that.
Yeah, and you're right. It's like, it's set up. They set up her abilities so we know what we're gonna see later on, but they also set up like the woods.
Yeah.
Like and what a good fake out with the quicksand scene. Because I started to get a little grumpy. I'm like, I swear to God, if the Predator shows up and she's conveniently covered in quicksand, he can't see her, I'm going to be so mad that they're just retreading Predator 1.
I thought that would be cute. I thought they missed the ball on that one, man. I wanted to see a mud
I was pissed.
moment.
I was like, I don't want to watch Predator 1 again. Show me something new. And they did. And like, by the time I completely forgot about the quicksand, she uses it to fight the Predator. Like, and it's so cool. I loved it. There's so many, this movie like echoes itself. It has some really nice beginnings and ends, like with the quicksand's one of them, and the dynamic with her brother is the other. Did you pick up on that with I'm basically going to talk about the beginning of the movie and the end of the movie in this.
Okay, what are you referencing?
So hold on, we don't have mods here, and I need to ban. How do I report? There we go. Sorry, we have sex bots in our chat room right now.
Yeah, I gotta get them out of here.
There they go. All right. Hopefully is this there? I'm just gonna hold up. Make a quick notation on the recording so I can cut that out. All right. So she goes. She wants to be a hunter, right? She doesn't just want to be a gatherer and a medicine specialist, right?
Right.
She's trying to prove herself. That's what she wants. We've established that. And so she goes out to face the lion. The nitpick, very poorly CG'd lion. A lot of the CG in this movie
animals were
me.
bad. The animals
look like shit. Yeah, that really bothered me. But we can get the nitpicks here in a sec. So I'm laughing at chat. So she spears the lion, but she falls off the tree, conks her head out, wakes up. Brother finishes off the lion, comes back all triumphant. Right?
Sure.
And you're just like, oh no, this is. But then at the end, the brother spears the predator, dies to the predator, and then she finishes the kill. And I just thought that was the most perfect, like, poetic full circle of the movie, and like really solidified their dynamic. And I really liked those two characters. And so, yeah, I don't know. I really loved this movie.
Well,
like,
and they covered that too. Like, this isn't just her heading out because there's a story to tell, because that's my character. The entire tribe is in upheaval because their war chief is sick or ailing or dying or something along those lines. I didn't really get the ailment exactly, but mom's talking about taking care of the war chief. They're looking for a new war chief. So there's a competition going on, which makes all the kids a little edgy. You got, they're all trying to represent themselves. They're all trying to get the big kill. And she's trying to be a part of this. So when she goes out on her own, it's not chaos at home, because it's already chaos at home. It's a time of trial for everybody. So her trial being alongside that and her trying to discover her own place in that society makes perfect sense. Along with the mud she falls into that they use eventually. There's a point where she's running from the bear and she does a little like kick off a tree. And I was like, oh, stylish points there. Well done. But later on, she does that exact same kick in order to bypass a trap that she uses on the Predator. So all this breadcrumb trail that they're doing fully builds up to everything she does to combat the Predator.
Every damn part of this movie gets hinted at some point. Like everything gets set up. I loved the slow burn of the trappers.
Yeah,
there's
that
just
was
one
great.
trap in the beginning, and my brain went, "Oh, are we going to deal with non-Native Americans? Is that where we're going with this?" And then there was a second trap.
Oh,
and then there was the skinned buffalo.
Yeah, which was great because that would be so disturbing. Like that's a point in history where just people went freaking nuts. There was a demand for buffalo hide, and they did that. Kristen speaks French, so like the whole time I have a translator. I knew all the scenes. I knew everything.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
She was just there translating every line, which kind of made me wish that this had been done in apocalyptic style. Like they spoke their language the whole time. I forget. I looked it up earlier. But it would have been really fun to have the whole movie.
Are you talking about in Prey or in Apocalyptic?
In Prey. In Prey.
Oh, in Prey, it's Comanche.
Comanche, that sounds right to me.
Because there's a whole Comanche dub available of this film as well.
Oh, I would like that because
it's a dub though. They didn't do extra takes, so
okay, it's not
the lips don't match up.
Still, like it was done with such respect and tactic when they would communicate when they would communicate quietly and use hand signals and everything else to make their moves while they were hunting. Like I could have done this whole movie without any English, and that would have been really fun.
I waffle back and forth on that because I really like I thought the brother and sister had really good chemistry.
They did
because they were at odds, but it wasn't ham-fisted. Like it I don't know. Like it felt like there was mutual respect, even though they were at odds with the way that their society, is structured. And I think that came across. And I would argue, they talk a little modern, but I just liked it. I didn't care. I liked those two characters a lot.
Oh sure, yeah, they were speaking English, but like who? That's for us.
The first scene when they're at the river, it feels a little modern, just the way they're talking to each other. But I also kind of don't care.
Yeah,
I just because I liked them.
Yeah, because it was a vessel for the story. Like we needed information, we needed to build that. I'm flipping through the trailer right now. I love the Predator running through the grass. I thought that was a really solid thing.
Oh, the overhead where you just see the grass parting, but there's nothing there.
Yeah, and then when he gets all covered in blood and he's still taking off after him, and the Expendables were so well used because they continued to show why she was the one that was going to be taking out the Predator, because she was ignored, not seen as a threat. She had the medicine that made her blood cooler, like all that equal.
Well, it's like and that to me that seemed like a callback to the original Predator, because that's something that Arnold does in the first movie. He lives because he stops and he observes. Like that first scene where he gets covered in mud, he just goes and sits there and just watches the Predator as it's like looking around, and there's that close-up shot on how when the Predator turns its head, the turret moves. We're talking original Predator here. And so that I thought that was cool too, because it's just like, no, there's a cause and effect. There's a way that this creature behaves. And if you stop for a second and study it, you're going to give yourself a leg up.
Well, and she had all these skills. Like there's the initial scene where she's throwing the tomahawk into the tree over and over again, but under pressure, which we saw she's spinning on the tree. Like everything's great. But the second that lion showed up, which honestly, my brain went, wait, lion? What the hell? Oh, wait. Oh, a mountain lion.
Mountain lion.
It took me a moment, but I was like,
because it's the Great Plains, which like could be. So you could be anywhere. I mean, Great Plains are a massive stretch of land. So
sure, I do wonder, like, if as a historian, if you were watching a movie like this, you're like, there'd be like 30 mountain lions. Like this place was packed with animals. They'd have to CG in so many birds. Our modern sensibilities don't know. Like, take all the pigeons you see outside and make those actual wildlife. Sorry, pigeons, but like fill it out. But no,
yes, send your angry pigeon emails to.
Dude, there was this like fire that would run in the middle of Chicago, and it was a memorial, and it was super cute. But every pigeon around there was missing toes, so you'd just go to this. You'd be walking down downtown Chicago and just surrounded by toeless pigeons. It was super weird because they all burned off their toes in the fire trying to stay warm in Chicago. They're beasts, man. Pigeons are crazy. She's got all the skills to down the Predator at the beginning, but she doesn't have the nerve. She doesn't have the experience, and that growth as she discovers her confidence in those moments is what is an element that I don't see in a lot of movies. Like a lot of times they're elite trained, which is fine. Like, that's your Predator kind of thing. And that's certainly what Adrian Brody had, like when he was thrown down.
Yeah, you just, yes, he is a badass.
Yep.
Moving on.
Yeah. But getting to see
and it
that...
also kind of works in Predator too, because then it's just, original Predator, because it's like, you just like, oh, they're badasses. But then when they start getting just knocked off, it has an effect.
Right, the red shirts, the cast of characters, you have to have the escalation so that you feel, what the threat is. And they certainly have this. And I love the animal thing alongside of it, right? Like having the escalation not only with the other hunters, but the animals alongside. Honestly, my nitpick is with you, man. Like the CGI on the animals is bad. There's a part in
most effect shots I thought were bad.
Yeah.
Like almost every effect shot. There was one that straight up made me angry. And I'm curious if you share this or if you even notice this, but the very first reveal essentially of the Predator. So this is, I guess, shortly after you see the big ship behind the clouds moving, and they have that nice, beautiful, it's like this low shot where she's looking up as what is definitely the Predator ship is moving behind the clouds.
Right, the storm, yeah.
Oh my God, that shot is gorgeous, and the way they did that was so cool. But then you cut to dead center composition of super CG ship, and then the Predator just stands up in the middle of the shot, and I hated it. It made me so mad. I could hear the studio executive note of, I'm sorry, we're like 20 minutes into this movie. How is the audience going to know a Predator is there?
Right.
Like, it doesn't even match the style of the movie. Everything up to that point was really just nice, natural shots of them out in the wilderness. And it just, I hated it. It made me so, that shot should just be cut from the movie. It makes no sense. It doesn't even look like the same cinematographer or director was behind it.
I didn't pick up on that. It didn't bother me, but I can totally see that. Yeah, it was definitely... Things that bother me more are like internal dialogue, like Dark Crystal has. When an executive walked in like, how do we know he's feeling sad sitting by the river looking at with his head down? Like, can you add some sort of monologue going on the background about why he's sad because his parents died? And you're like, dude, we just saw the movie. The beginning of the movie was him dealing with the parents and being here. Like, that's why he's sad by the river looking sad. So, I get you. That would have been really cool to bypass that scene and be like, oh man, what was the storm? Was the storm something else? Was she hearing like, because early on it could have been gunshots and thunder and, really played up that mystery like the original Predator did without the ship coming by.
I will remind you that the original Predator opens up with a ship flying to Earth, which I kind of wish it didn't have.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to cut that too. Okay, yeah. Maybe these
because you don't have those. It's a cool mystery.
My big complaint is I thought Predator looked dumb without his mask on. His eyes were too sunken in. He looked a little character-y. And
I prefer the classic Predator.
But keep the long proboscis, those things working with the mask was the coolest Predator they've ever done.
Mask on was my favorite. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't like it as much, but I still liked it, if that makes sense. Like, it's like I don't think it's bad. But there's other Predator designs I like more. I thought it was really effective for this movie because it looks primitive. Like it looks like a proto Predator, which I don't know my Predator. I did used to read the comics. Like I was a big Dark Horse fan back in the day, but I've retained none of it. I know there's like, if you actually go look into Predator lore, there's different looking Predators for different time periods. But it looked like a Neanderthal Predator. Like it had a more pronounced brow. And so to me, it worked. I really liked what they were going with that. But I'm with you. It looked cooler with the mask on.
I loved his kit. I loved the shield that he had. All his little toys were fabulous.
The shield was for me the coolest thing when he the burnt out when the bait scene with all the traps. Yeah. When he just went ham with the shield. I was screaming at the TV in joy. I loved it. I love fighting. I love using a shield as a weapon, and that was just grotesque and excessive and wonderful.
Personally, I wouldn't mind if we got away from the big glove hand pressing the 80s buttons. I know it's a classic, but times have moved on. They'd have better interface than that. They're space travelers after all. Like, let's modernize the Predator cuff a bit.
No, it's like it's rugged, man. Like, have you seen a construction worker's phone case? It's the ugliest, most hideous thing you've ever seen in your life. They're out there fighting, and this stuff is exposed to the elements.
Okay, yeah, you don't want a big flat screen that you can bust in. Good argument.
Exactly.
I'm down. Okay.
Yeah.
All
No,
right.
I'm with you. It makes it's functional.
Yeah.
It's functional. It's got to hold up to combat.
So well done, Hulu. What? So this was done by the Cloverfield director?
Yes. No, Cloverfield Lane, which is a very different movie, which I love.
Okay.
Dan Trachtenberg. I think this is only his second feature film. The other is Cloverfield Lane, which is great, with John Goodman in one of the creepiest roles I've ever seen him play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well done, Predator. Well done.
I really like Dan Trachtenberg. I love this movie. I now have 3 Predator movies that I love.
They're good choices.
But
you picked the best. You really have.
Okay, I'm glad. I'm surprised we find something we really agree on.
Yeah.
We really agree on. Huh. Interesting. Well, I'm glad you liked it. Would you like to take a break for stream? We'll read some super chats and maybe go to the bathroom.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. We'll say hi to the chat. Hi, everybody.
Let's pause. Hey, Chad, how you doing?
How
Let's
y'all doing?
take a break.
Thank you for joining us.
Got some super chats to read.
Ah, cool. Let's do them.
Keep an eye on chat here. Yeah, let's see. I mean, they're all here in the thing. I'll just read out of the interface because I haven't had a YouTube crash, which is when it clears. So yeah, let's see. Bruno super chatted sometime back. I know Kyle answered this question on the Discord server, but I want to hear from Garrett. How do you view Xenos as a HOTS character? Oh, very Arthas-y, very lumbering, but Arthas with like teleport attacks. Essentially, like, I know Xenos doesn't teleport, but he moves very quickly suddenly. It's a lot of slow walking followed by an almost instant dash forward. So Arthas adjacent, maybe Arthas with Artanis' kid, or maybe he's just more like Artanis.
Very Imperious-y might be, kind of. But I like your dash idea. He has the stab, but I like the dash.
Yeah, his is very slow and lumbering though. Like if it was just like instant impale. Maybe just a faster Imperious.
There's so many options too, because you could do pre-end Xenos or normal Xenos.
Yeah. Hey, Kirst Kane. Hi from America.
Hello.
Well, you said London, UK. Hi from Florida and where are you now? Oregon.
Portland, yeah, Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. Ryan super chatted. Have you guys ever seen any of the Final Fantasy 16 trailers? It's being made by Yoshi P and the 14 team. Gameplay looks more like DMC than Final Fantasy. I mean, that's been the case for a while now, right?
Yeah, they've always,
combat wise,
like you juggle in air, which is, I believe, what 15 looked like as well, if I recall.
Yeah, but yeah, I saw the original main trailer of Final Fantasy 16, and I'm very down to play it.
Yeah, I love the
It's all primally.
Right. The primals and up graphics, which is why, I played World of Warcraft back in the day, was getting to see the advancement of those graphics and feel like I'm living in that world. And I think it's a great idea to use those as the mascots in their advertising.
Also, it's like traditional fantasy setting too. Like it's more old school rather than like a more like pseudo modern or sci-fi Final Fantasy. So
it looks messy,
yeah,
like Final Fantasy 15 did though. And that's my big concern, is there's just so many characters in this post Game of Thrones entertainment sphere that I'm nervous they can't nail the ending.
Am I hearing StarCraft music?
Oh yeah, I put on a little music in the background.
For the break? Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
music,
cool.
A little music in the break.
Jose Joe, thanks for the super chat, said, I would like to thank Kyle for mentioning Moonlighter before got it on sale and been hooked ever since.
It's really cute. It's a cute game. I have a really good time with it. It's been a while since I played it, granted, but it was a really, really solid new kiddo game. Like, you had 15 minutes of like battle, 15 minutes of shopping, and you could be done by the time the nap was over.
That makes a lot of sense. I need to play it at some point. I'm sure I'll like it. Our Wojo, thanks for the super chat, said, my 3 brothers who are 7, 8, and 11 years older than me decided to rent Poltergeist one night when they were babysitting me at 5 years old. That's messed up.
Yep, that would be spooky, because that takes place in a house. Like,
no, yeah.
Nothing's worse than for me, it was always the lights coming through the curtains. And then like the little sister hovering out the window. Oh, whoa. aliens, man. But like, yeah, in your house, that is a like out in space, like you can still be like, okay, at least I'm not on the Nostromo. It's gonna be okay, everybody. But that's a movie that takes place in a house.
Yeah, I didn't see Poltergeist until I was older. That's one I missed as a kid.
It's kind of artsy too. Like the beginning's very boring for a kid.
Oh, I love the beginning. I liked it because I didn't see it till college, and I remember watching it, and I was like, "Oh man, my parents probably smoked weed." Like I had this big realization. I was like, "Shit, my parents are people."
Yeah, when your parents are like, hold up. Yeah, what are they doing? It was real in that way. I like it. That wasn't the actor.
God.
That actor reminded me of Owlman though, and I love Owlman.
Owlman. Oh, dude from the Conjuring.
Movies. Yeah, I just like his
I always forget that actor's name. I need to look it up now because I like him too. Conjuring. Patrick Wilson.
Patrick Wilson. I like Patrick Wilson a lot.
Yeah, he's a really solid everyman. Freaking dude, did you see? He was in. Did you ever see? Probably the most fucked up movie I've ever watched. You ever seen Bone Tomahawk?
No, I've never even heard of it.
It is like 90 minutes of a straight Western, and then the final 15 minutes are literally the most gruesome thing I've ever watched in my life.
Oh.
It made me sick to my stomach as a 34-year-old man. I watched it last year. Yeah. It's intense, and he's in it. He's really good in it too. It's a hard movie to recommend because it's technically good, but I never need to see it again.
I mean, that's Matchstick Men with Nicolas Cage for me. That was just an emotional journey. But The Audition.
I don't think I've ever
Have you ever seen The Audition or any of those like really, really brutal movies? Yeah, can't recommend. I mean, excellent movie. Well done. What an art. All the blood was with the piano wire. Well done. Thank you. Thank you for making that film, everybody. We did it, gang.
So to tell you, my one step further on that is the most recent Joker movie, where I'm like, technically this is a very well made movie. I had no fun whatsoever.
Yeah.
I think this is a joyless experience, and I don't think I'll see the sequel. It was just a thief of happiness. So,
Wait, was Bone Tomahawk Kurt Russell?
Yes.
Didn't he just do? What was the one that took place in like the inn? With him?
That came out. It came out the same year as Hateful Eight, and he has the same hair for it.
Okay.
Yeah. So he did two.
He was just stuck in that time period for a
Westerns.
little bit, like how Leslie Nielsen was stuck training people for 5 years there.
I mean, hey man, if I could grow chops like that, I would just keep them for a year and be like, "Who wants to hire me for a Western before I shave this off?" Yeah. Yeah, I keep hearing that about Hereditary. I don't know. By the way, speaking of Ryan, thanks for the super chat. Ryan said, thoughts on Alien Encounter, Disney's unofficial alien movie ride. I was around 10 then, and I've never felt such intense terror in my life. We mentioned this on a stream not that long ago.
Yeah.
We talked about this. I miss it dearly. I love that ride.
I could see how it was accident prone. You know, they wanted to make some adult rides compete with Universal Studios in a way. And kids, entering Tomorrowland might line up for it. And the intro is even kind of like, oh, did they just evaporate Slippy? That was kind of weird. Or Skippy or whatever its name was. It was a fabulous ride, though. I always sat super forward in my chair so I didn't get licked on the back of my neck. I hated that part. That was the part I could not stand. I was always crammed into the front of my seat.
It's just a little rubber thing. That
I hated it. I hated getting licked.
I thought the ride was a riot, man. I loved it.
Same with It's a Bug's Life. I don't want to be stung in my seat. I always kind of hover on the end of my chair so I don't get stung by the bees.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Yeah. Do you need to go get a drink or anything?
Yeah. I'm gonna freshen up my water and I'll be right back.
I'll hold it down while you're gone. Yeah. Oh, Arwojo with another super chat. Thanks, Arwojo. I'll wait till Kyle's back. But yeah, Hateful Eight was pretty gnarly, I guess. I've seen such horrible things that to me, Hateful Eight is a really tame flick. Like, especially if I'm thinking about Bone Tomahawk. Like, yeah. It's not even the most gnarly Kurt Russell Western. Like, yeah. Great, horrible movie. That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it, Bjorn. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right, Cager. Thanks for asking. Yesterday was weird. You know, it's change is hard, but you know, getting through it. Upwards and onwards. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But how are you doing, chat room? As I scroll up to see what other things I missed. Oh yeah, Moonlighter's on Game Pass. Yeah, I think I saw that the other day. I think I saw that. Identity. It's a horror film. Identity. I should probably put film. 2003. That's a while ago. John Cusack? Never heard about this. Neo-noir slasher film. I like John Cusack. I like what I'm reading. I'm rewatching and re-listening to the listening to the Mandalorian. You mean, oh, Kit, you re-listening to the Star Wars podcast? Hell yeah, thanks. Thanks for giving it a listen. I need to rewatch the Mandalorian, man. That show, near perfect. Some of the best Star Wars ever. Some of the best Star Wars ever. Mandy with Nick Cage. Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. I need to see Mandy. That looks like just nuts.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Luke's saying the older he's gotten more skeeved out by gross gnarly stuff. I am too, honestly. Like, I don't know. I think it's just part of getting older. You just get a little more grossed out by that kind of shit. Yeah, I guess it depends on the stuff I'm seeing, right? I think I'm at an age where I don't want to see anything worse than what I've already seen.
Yeah, you've drawn your line.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Sounds like a combination.
Tomahawk went so beyond it, where I was like, "Oh God, I didn't need to see that." Like it is gonna haunt my dreams for the rest of my life. But yeah, well, I'm gonna go grab a drink since you're back.
Awesome.
Chat room, Kyle is yours, and we'll read our Wojo's super chat when I get back.
Oh, perfect. Welcome everybody. Welcome. We are going to be heading into God of War 2018 for our next spoiler chat. In fact, let's go ahead and get that ready. I'm very excited to talk to Garrett about this. Other than that, how y'all doing? I saw some other people talking about Cult of the Lamb. What are y'all playing? Can handle Netflix, the Castlevania? Omega M for Halloween. That'd be a good costume. Last year I went as Ian from Jurassic Park. And my son was dressed as a dinosaur. So, you know, there's got to be a little theming in that. We're doing the trick-or-treating. Audition was way too much. Yeah, Audition. There was that scene in Dead Space 2 where the needle goes in, and that was kind of gratuitous, but you're kind of already in that space with just like how violent Dead Space games were. You've been playing it already? Cult's good? Okay, cool. Luke, how would you describe the like base management? Is it because the art is putting me so in the headspace of don't starve, but it seems like it's more just the place where you place your upgrades and then you move on. What are we doing for the FF14 stream? We're doing Extreme Domain, Shinryu's Domain. And I'm really excited about that. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be very exploratory.
Yeah, our first proper Extreme.
Yeah.
Proper Extreme, and we're gonna go for it. So if you end up in our team and you suck, we're gonna kick you. Except me or Kyle. I've been told I'm not allowed to kick Kyle, and Kyle's not allowed to kick me.
That's fair. Yeah, there are like certain, if someone's trolling or something, like we'll have to throw the lever, but I think for the most part we'll be able to manage. We'll see what happens. I'm excited to see it.
So far I feel like when we do kind of hard stuff, like we get good groups.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I really don't have a frame of reference. Some people are making it seem really hard. Other people are being like, if you've done the stuff you've done as quickly as you've done it, you should be able to get through it. So
yeah, no, it will be blind, so we'll be going in every time we die. We'll go, what was that? And then explore. But we did really well on a number of bosses. We did Rathalos Extreme. We did that with probably the biggest one. We did the longest one we've done is Nidhogg mid-eye level.
just regular Nidhogg Mini level, yeah, but that was a lot of new mechanics we had never seen before.
Yeah, that's true. We'd never seen a stack mechanic up to that point. So there's a lot of fresh things in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Arwojo, thanks for your other super chat. Talking about great things I only need to watch once, the Chernobyl miniseries. Absolutely amazing, but I won't watch it again. I've heard that. It has been on my queue for like over a year now.
Is that a historical thing or is it like a drama?
It's a it's yes to both.
Okay.
It's a drama, but it's a historical retelling of the events of Chernobyl, I believe.
But it's not a documentary.
No.
Okay.
No, it's like prestige television. It's an HBO miniseries.
Okay.
Who did this? I feel like I've watched other things from. Oh, how weird. Dude, what did this wrote The Hangover Part 2.
No.
But it won like Emmys and shit, man.
Yeah.
Like it was a wildly celebrated miniseries. So.
I watched a fabulous documentary on it, but I don't remember the name. I got super into YouTube documentaries there about a year ago. Particularly ones about farming. I went on a journey. Yeah, tonight
he did a bunch of terrible comedies, and then decided to, I guess, knock it out of the park with a historical drama.
Vernacular Ham continues this. Thank you for the super chat. Chernobyl is both amazing and horrifying. Watch it once, and then you'll probably never watch it again. I believe it. Just knowing the historical insanity that situation was with the modern technology. It was such an era of the technology being greater than our understanding of it.
Yeah.
One of the craziest things.
Oh, well, shall we get back to it?
Yeah, let's let me get my folder open here.
Was that some Burning Crusade music a second ago?
This is Pandaria. It's Wisdom of the Yulon.
I'm starting to miss WoW, man. I'm getting the itch.
Well, you got Classic coming up.
I'm having the itch for an MMO that I don't care about the story of.
Just playing a video game. Yeah.
I just want to grind. I just want to have almost my entire experience be combat.
I get you. I definitely understand the difference of the two games in that way.
There's a point. There's a time in everybody's life where you just want to grind. You just want to grind. Well, shall we?
Yes. Let's kill the music.
Bring that music down.
Yeah, music's down. Let me get on over to soundboard 2 here. We got ready.
All right. Play me a little. Do you have that music? Do the music.
Here we go.
And then fade it out as I start talking.
Oh, let me make sure I'm on fade out here. Because that is a different setting for my buttons. Yep, we should be good. Let me know when you're ready.
Go for it. Send it. Oh my goodness. All right. So, my good friend Kyle is apparently a raging God of War fan and has never played the 2018 God of War until now. You have officially beaten it, dude.
I have.
What'd you think?
In a marathon of nights, right? Like this was every single evening for the past, 3 weeks? You went on vacation there and I fired up, so probably a month. Just having at this game. I have a lot to say. About this game. Some of it just great. Some of it's, the praising you've heard so far. And I do have my nitpicks as a longtime fan. I didn't realize just how big the game was, of course. I found that over the past couple weeks, but just how many people played it that never touched the original either. And it's very cool to hear that it landed as strong for those people and that they feel that emotional connection. But on top of it, I had a lot of fun with this. It does have the trappings of a modern open world. There's the seams showing, of course, and the deeper you get in the game, the more those seams show. But there's so much I loved about it, so we're gonna get big in spoiler here as we dive in.
Oh yeah. Spoilers for a 4-year-old game.
It'll happen. Yeah.
It could, and there's going to be renewed interest, but yeah. I love this game. I have been replaying it today. I just got the. What did I do today? Play a little bit this morning. I got the pick, the pick out of the giant's head.
Oh sure, yeah, you're moving pretty fast.
Yeah.
Like
I've just been kind of
halfway
mainlining. I just been running, been running through it, like trying not to worry too much about maxing out my Kratos because this game does have RPG like mechanics.
Yeah, the difficulty on normal never really goes high enough that you need to go grind. So I stuck to the main story for the most part. I did a little bit of the fire dimension and did those trials, which was really nice that they actually varied them. Every single one of them wasn't a time trial. It was like kill everybody at the same time. I did a little bit of Valkyrie action on the side. I looked for the bones for some ghosts and all that kind of thing. But I didn't finish it with, epiced out armor by any means. I got caught up in the story of it and wanted to see where we were going, particularly as, Atreus boy goes down. Like that entire business was really, really well done. It is, it's a little on the nose, particularly when you're sailing and the camera's spinning around you. It's heavy-handed artistry. You're gonna catch it. Oh, one side of him has the axe and doesn't have the Spartan paint, or I think it's a blood mark. I think they go into, or a birthmark. I think they go into that in like the PSP games. I didn't play those ones, so sorry. I'm not a super fan. I am a PlayStation God of War 1 through 3 fan. But the camera's like pivoting, scene 1, scene 2, going around to the other side of him that looks more like the ghost of Sparta. And they even brought in Athena there. And that particular bit of music that I just played, this one here, when they bring in that chorus, they still don't do the riff, which I needed. I desperately wanted them to do the full-blown, this one, the God of War 3 song here. The actual tune. But it hits it enough. It almost goes there. They almost do the like that is the sound of Kratos, and they almost do it, but they brought in Athena, they brought in the blades. I didn't know they were even gonna do the blades.
Okay, that's literally all I wanted to know was how did that land for you when you go back to the cabin and get the blades?
Fabulous.
Because, dude, listen, I'm not the biggest God of War fan, but I did beat 1, started playing 2. Oh, I hear something.
All right, we're coming back.
Nice. You're going to have to rejoin the Zoom.
Yeah, let me do that. Sorry about the construction. Keep blipping me.
It's never ending.
I know. Well, it's construction, right? It is never ending by its very nature.
Hashtag I4 eyesore.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I believe that was just abandoned.
Yeah, well, that project was full blown, just like left to rot. All right, I'm refiring up everything. Where was I? I'm sure you got to finish your thought.
Yeah, I was asking you what it was like when you got to the blades, because I, as someone who just kind of liked the first game and then fell off after that, like I lost my shit when they got to the blades of chaos.
Yeah.
Like, did you lose your shit?
I will tell you once I regain all the things, all the activities that were going on. I had to do a full restart to make it work. Because what happens is the internet blips, and then my computer goes, I'm not receiving internet until we're done here. Until you give me a restart. And it is brutal. All right, all the bits and bobs are going. We got the Zoom video. Is Zoom video active? Perfect. Let's get you again. What's the problem, Zoom? There we go. Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, bum, ba-da-bum. Bum, ba-da-bum. Ba-da-bum. There you are. You got sunglasses since I last saw you.
I put them on during the break.
All right. That's there. Good. We're good. We're good. Okay. We can re-begin our adventure.
Cool. So the point I was making was that this is what I personally really wanted to know in terms of how it affected you, how it landed for you, because I am not a massive God of War fan, but I know enough about it, and I beat the first game. So for me, as someone who kind of had a good time with the first game and that was it, I lost my shit when Kratos went and got the Blades of Chaos. So I'm wondering if your head exploded when that happened.
I mean, they did the combos. Like this wasn't just the blades that they got out. They got out the entire kit and caboodle. Is it kit and caboodle? Kit and caboodle, or is it kittens? Either way.
I'm not having this conversation right now.
Okay. I'm not sure, but it's the combos from all three God of War games. This is the spins left, or was it right, left, spin, big slam. Like, this is the combos, even to the point where the parts I was like, oh, they're missing. Oh, they didn't do it all. We're hidden inside of upgrades later on, particularly the up jump and all that. I mean, there's stuff like firing it out and grabbing the little eyeball squid things that would fly around. I hate those things.
Oh, nightmares?
Yeah, nightmares.
Those are bad. I hate the I call them witches, but I don't know if that's actually what they are. But the smoky
revenants,
swamp revenants, those things. I hate those bastards.
Yeah, they had every move accounted for, and that was a huge treat to have.
I was surprised how it translated, that they made that type of combat work for the way that this God of War plays.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know. To me, it feels like it shouldn't have worked because it's a more fluid weapon, and the axe and this Kratos is a little more, I don't know, impactful.
Well, just the camera. The camera was living behind your character, a la Batman style, and any sort of vertical combat was going to suffer because of it. They basically made things not go too high. In the case of those squid dudes, yeah, they were frustrating because they were often out of camera, but you were looking at most usually one of the trolls' crotches. You were too busy spinning around and managing your surroundings. I played
that close to the trolls. I'm just throwing my axe at them from like a million miles away.
You could hit a pretty good rhythm dodging them, where you could stay up on them. But yeah, it was easier to shotgun, and you got pretty good at the shotgunning, particularly as you had the recall at the perfect point buff ability that would cause it to do more damage. So just machine gunning that out was really satisfying.
I'm more of the homing attack guy, where you like paint targets.
Okay.
By holding it. That's more how I used it.
I didn't like that because sometimes it would lock on later on in the game. It would lock onto like an invincible guy, and then the axe would just fall to the ground and not hit the other targets. So I like the spamming. But in general, the combat evolved decently. It was all right. They kind of got into the puzzle of like, don't hit the red guys with the red, don't hit blue with the blue. That was cute. The entire Blades of Chaos was an excellent reference, and they really captured the look and, like I'm saying, to the exact combos. The puzzles were on point. Yeah, it's good puzzling. If it wasn't ever really all that confusing. Sometimes I missed where I was supposed to climb. I was playing on the immersive HUD for the whole thing, so there was probably a waypoint that would have guided me with greater haste throughout the game. But I was really, really enjoying the lines, like the boy and Mimir would be like, "Look out behind you, to your left." And so for the most part, you didn't really even need the HUD. I just like the clean screen. I probably could have raged a lot more. My cooldowns were probably available a lot sooner. Like,
that's as I've been replaying it, that's my biggest nitpick. Spartan Rage. It's my least favorite combat in the whole game. It's your big power up, and I'd rather be fighting with the axe or the blades.
I liked it. I liked particularly as the Blades of Chaos came online, I found myself using melee less and less. So I like that the Spartan Rage kept some punches in there for me. I was a big fan of that.
I love fighting like the low level Draugr, so you could like throw the axe in one, freeze him, and then like run up and just start punching the crap out of him while he's frozen. Like it just, to me, that's like part of the flow state of the combat of that game that I really love.
The boat was fine. Yeah. I love the boat. I remember seeing some reviews that the boat was slow. I thought the boat allowed for the story time, and Mimir, the voice actor there, did fabulous story time. And Kratos did fabulous story time, and maybe the boy didn't have any stories, but still he prompted the stories along, and I thought the boat was really solid.
Yeah, in my replay right now, right when I was like, maybe the boat is a little boring, then I got Mimir, and I'm like, all right, Mimir really livened things up on the boat. Like the voice acting is so good that it's like it's when I replay something, it's like, oh, I'm gonna catch up on so many podcasts. Not with this. No, it's I'm totally down to listen to it all over again.
I think my favorite part in the entire game, and this is not from the action perspective, just a story perspective, was Atreus's tiny Spartan Rage. That was the most adorable thing to ever happen in this entire game, when he doesn't know his truth of his, of his history, of his being, and he attempts to go full blown there. There were many points, like, as a father, where I was getting into the game a little more than maybe someone else. But really, the idea of, my 3-year-old son entering any sort of graphical rage, absolutely, I see it. Toddlers have a tough time. I'm so happy he doesn't catch on fire and fly about the room. But it was, I really like the climbing the mountain too. Like, I know that's another sore point for people. I really, really liked going back to the same mountain and making it a little further each time. I thought it was a great storytelling device, and it made the world feel small and layered, which the lake also did very well, with the draining of the lake being how you unlocked more of the open world.
Yeah, well, it has very Metroid-light mechanics, right? Of the backtracking, and once you go back with your new abilities, you can access new locations and whatnot. And so, like because of the style of game that it is, like backtracking is built in. It's part of the game. So yeah, I'm with you there too. Like I love this game. Like I really like, if you want to call it God of War 4 for the sake of our own sanity, I love God of War 4.
Yeah, there's a bunch of PSP games in there that, were exploring more comic book style side points, like who was his father? Well, we know his father, but who was his brother? And like, who was his mother? And I didn't ever play those, nor did I hear that they were particularly essential to the building of God of War. And God of War, I think, got off the path there. There wasn't a Kratos worth exploring necessarily at the end of 3. And this game found a place to continue Kratos' story with the story that I thought was really, really strong. And I loved all the World Serpent. Everything involving the World Serpent, sailing inside the World Serpent, Serpent talking, Serpent getting punched, Serpent showing up, like everything involving the Serpent was just top tier.
Did you? I think you have to see it, right? You saw the wall, the prophecy of Ragnarok towards the end.
Yeah.
You think they're gonna do it? You think they're gonna kill off Kratos in Ragnarok?
Yeah. Particularly because in the final fight versus Baldur, you're quick timing as the boy, and it's his story now, right? Like that's a storytelling device. You were in control of the boy for that part, and that to me really said, oh yeah, Kratos is dead. Any powers that you have are going to be the boy's powers eventually. Maybe Ragnarok, the final scene, will be entirely you controlling the boy as we pass the torch, a la Indiana Jones hat. Hopefully it won't be too cheesy. I'll be very sad when that happens because I adore Kratos as a character. But I did have my gripes. I got my gripes with it. First one, I missed QuickTime events. I really did. I thought there were a couple thrown in for fun, like hitting the axe, but they were all extremely simple. In the old games, particularly on the higher difficulties, which is always where my head will be because I love them, you had to make a choice. Getting involved in a QuickTime was extremely dangerous because you were taking a chance. Can you actually hit the right buttons? Can you do X, O, whatever the PlayStation button, triangle? Or do you just want to stand back and hit the thing while it's kind of stunned and just deal with it in a normal way? QuickTimes here got repetitive, as they always have been in God of War games because you go into sort of cinematic. But there was no tactical choice involving when you would QuickTime and when you wouldn't. And that kind of disappointed me.
See, I hate QuickTime events, and I think they were a cheesy, bad product of their time.
Because
and I think
everybody
they died
did
the death
them.
they deserved.
They died the right death because Resident Evil 4 and everybody jumped on them, and there was all the God of War clones. Like to me, it served a very cool place in the game. It was your moment of brutality after dealing with a real dick of a boss. You know, like there were these dogs, these flaming dogs that would grow bigger and then eventually vomit forth other dogs. And if you couldn't get them down in time, they would just keep spawning their own dogs. And when you got to QuickTime one of those, it was like, finally, what a relief. You deserved it. When you fed a Cyclops' own eye, he deserved it, you know? Here, it was like, yeah, we're just kind of owning things. And that comes to my next gripe was low enemy variety. Like, we had very, very few enemy types. We fought so many trolls. The bridge garden was a troll. The puzzle room was a troll. 2 trolls at once. I kind of liked it when, like, the dark elf bug, 2 of those showed up at the same time, because I'm like, oh man, what a jerk maneuver game. Okay, you got me there. But low enemy, and hopefully that grows. Like God of War 1 only had so many enemies, and then God of War 2 took advantage of the enemies they had already designed and made more. So hopefully with Ragnarok they can say, here's our staple, or our stable, we know it works. Let's add more on top of this and keep the tactical depth, which will be hard to do with the camera. It'll be hard to add more enemy types when the camera can be so restrictive with your viewpoint, as opposed to Kratos in the original games that was more Resident Evil camera glued to a certain part of the room.
Very interesting. You have such a fondness for things that I think I never want to see again. Like I hate static camera angles and I hate QuickTime events. So it's very interesting because like I think of them as like, yeah, I hate this phrase and I hate looking the world this way, but to me it's like objectively bad. Like I think it's a poor way to design your games, and it's I find it fascinating that you love these things.
There was a reason it got copied, and there was a reason it was bad. And we've talked about the Star Wars game, Force Unleashed. That was a very, very bad copy of this. There were tons of bad copies of God of War, and they happened all the time. God of War, to me, was the proper imagining of those mechanics. There's a reason why those mechanics were born inside that game and became popular.
That's a good point. You can move the camera in Force Unleashed, but that game just controlled so poorly.
And they built their own engine for this. Like, I totally get that they were limited on time, maybe, that they had to work really, really hard to put out what they did. You know, did they build up Odin a bit much and we didn't fight him? Yeah, I have a little bit of problem with that. You know, we really had to hear a lot of stories about Odin. So I was like, dang, I'm even getting to the final fight here, and Freya going nuts, and I'm like, damn, there's a lot of game to go, and it's we're done.
You haven't even fought Thor, dude.
They just straight up like closed off the doors and said these are closed forever. So I'm hoping that the next game sits like an expansion pack on top of this one, and we're very much in the same place, in the same world, because there were so many doors closed. It felt like they ran out of time to produce it in some regards.
It's I never got that because to me by the end of it I was like, damn, I just played a whole lot of game. Like I don't know, they told us it felt like a story. It didn't feel like there is a cliffhanger. There's more story to tell, but it did feel like a full arc. Like for Kratos and Atreus by the end. Like yeah, there's bigger bads, but it's like literally Odin. Like it's literally the main god of where you are, which was kind of what God of War did, right? You don't kill Zeus in game 1.
No, not game 1. No.
But he's alluded to.
Yeah, game 1 had a very clear objective, which was kill Ares. And Ares was the entire problem. Well, I'm happy to go deep. Because I think that people often, and even the developers themselves, threw God of War 1 and 2 and 3 under the bus. Like, the developers themselves were like, we need to get away from Kratos. Ooh, growl. Oh, he's so angry. And actually discover Kratos as a character and explore it. Like, no! That was 2 and 3. 2 and 3 was revenge porn. That was the point of it. It was just kill everybody, destroy everything. And they deserved it because of 1, you got a job you didn't want. And then they betrayed you. They all deserved it. It was absolutely the fantasy to go destroy all the Olympian gods. And they didn't need the big setup of this God of War game, because frankly, we're all deeply aware of Olympian lore because They teach it in school. Hercules came out when we were younger. It's Hades, like every game, tons of games, I should say, are just going on about Olympian lore. We're all very, very intimate with it. It's very easy to know. This stuff was a bit more complicated. The world serpent, like we've seen Thor, but that doesn't really get into the actual lore of things like we've explored.
Oh yeah, I know.
Olympian.
I know so little about Norse mythology. Yeah. I recognize names. Like, oh yeah, I know Odin. I know Thor. I know Balder. I didn't know the brothers Magni and the other one.
No, they were cute with their little chant they'd do when they'd go into the mist and sing together.
That's a cool fight, man.
Yeah.
I love that the other brother gets like terrified when you just bury that axe in Magni's skull.
Sure.
He's just like, I'm out.
And this is me, of course, bypassing my pure just fandom excitement that I loved so much of this game. I loved him guarding his son during that scene. I loved him not touching, hover handing his son a little bit in the early event, being like, oh, God, I can't, man. I'm not emotionally connecting here. Becoming to the point where he's hugging him while they're falling and carrying him when he's ill. Eventually, like, really just hands-on dad and, like, down on his level, hand on the shoulder, eye to eye, drinking the drink together. Like, all that was so good. That's why I want to build on it. I want to keep seeing this grow.
They're gonna.
I hope so. I hope they can nail it. But I do take great offense with anybody who says that one is no story. It's just this vulgar display machismo thing. Like, no.
It is machismo though. It's kind of, listen, Mountain Dew can have a plot. That's okay.
That's the story. Like, so many people walked into the GameStop, fired up God of War on the test version there, and it popped up on the two gals in the bed, and you'd press O a lot and get some XP, and everyone's like, no. Like, this man is burying his sadness. He murdered in a blind rage fueled by Ares, his main villain, his mom, his wife and daughter. And he wants the dreams to stop. All he wants to do is sleep. He is sleep deprived. Everything in his way in one is an obstacle that he hates, absolutely despises, because it's in between him and being free of his dreams, which he thinks is what Athena promised him. And he goes and he defeats Ares and he finally climbs to the top. And what does he do? He throws himself off a cliff to end it all because they won't take his dreams away. He just wants some sleep, damn it. He's so tired. 2 and 3, though, yeah, like that's Kratos, man. Like, we can all complain about 2 and 3. Like, they should have let you kill Zeus in 2. They wanted to make a franchise, do a trilogy. I get it. You had the money was flowing at the time, but one is a much deeper game than people account for. And if he chooses to bury his sadness with ladies on his own private boat, then so be it.
It's not unlike the better you're describing like the more modern depictions of James Bond.
Yeah.
They don't strip that away from him, but they get into the psyche of what creates a person that behaves this way, that lives their life in this way. What creates that. And so, in a way, it's not the only thing I'm hanging it on. It's just like I remember so little about the game, other than like extreme violence and quick time events that I hate it. Plus, we haven't gotten into my biggest gripe about one. I know I've mentioned it to you before. The final fight of God of War 1 is one of the biggest disappointments in gaming. Like, you're giant now. Punch in the water, boys. Like,
they trade out your weapon.
That fight is trash.
Poorly designed because they trade out your weapon for that sword that you haven't used for the entire game, and you lose your blades. But
completely fumbles it at the freaking line.
Go a step forward. Yeah, that's lame. I agree. But go a step before that, when Ares taunts you with your own dreams, where you have to defend your own wife and child from visions of yourself as the warrior of Sparta that you were. And in order to keep your family healed up, you have to hug them by holding the button. Like, tactical hugs was a important part of that final battle. So you could keep their vision alive while you fought yourself and your own demons.
And now I'm going to need to find a decent way to replay God of War 1 because I don't remember any of that.
But I understand for a sequel here, and particularly like a long after the fact sequel, it's easier to simplify Kratos into and like, Mimir's like, we got to go inside, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, Yes. Like, that's Kratos in 2 and 3, but Kratos 1 there was frustrations in the way of a goal. Here, his goal is much, much simpler. Do the ashes, get to the top with the ashes, and fulfill his wife's dying wish. And I think for some players that gets lost along the way and they become frustrated with Kratos being frustrated on the journey, which to me is perfectly valid. Perfectly valid. He's just trying to do something simple, and it became a emotional journey with his son. Thank goodness for it, because it was a beautiful journey.
Oh, I love the moment where they're like, no, you're gonna have to take it to Jotunheim, and there's just like Kratos is in the shot and he goes, that's not what that could not have been what she meant. And it's just like, it's like when you get the text from your wife at the grocery store and you're like, I'm almost done shopping, come on. Like,
and that was the game, and I see why people can find that frustrating. I like the smallness of the world. You know, it's video gaming, and that your house is like right there. Like, here's the entire open world, and your house happens to be right here. Where do other people live? Who cares? Like, you know, there's video game mechanics. The puzzles were video gamey. Didn't matter there. My biggest story gripe is the boy became a dick really fast. Like, just hauled ass through being a dick throughout the entire mountain. In particular, when he ran ahead and pulled the big ice juggernaut golem thing. That was my like, this ain't cool, boy. I cannot take this any further. And
it's a little power hungry.
It is, and maybe like more side quest. If I rezzed up the boy, you know, not technically right, you know, he healed him. If I got the boy up and then we were like, hey, let's go do some side quests. But the problem is, when the second you hit the bottom of the mountain to the top of the mountain there, it's a very long journey. And for that entire bit, that's when the boy's going hard angst. And there is no break until you get to hell. And he kind of like sees a few visions of himself and goes, oh. But he's even being like, that wasn't me. I'm like, that was you. That was you. But I like that boy didn't care. Atreus, I'll say that. But I like that he didn't care about, you know, Kratos' past at that point. He's like, I just saw you beat up a guy. I see you beat up guys every day. Why should I care? Or when Freya's trying to lord the information over him and be like, your boy doesn't know who he is. And Chris is like, mic drop. Here's the whole thing. Here's everything I did. I killed my father. Let's break the cycle. All that. Wonderfully done. I love Kratos breaking the cycle. I loved him saying, you know, I'm not your monster anymore, Athena. I'm not the animal you think I am, Freya. I am making conscious choices. And we're down in Baldur because he's got to go. He's a problem god, and we're going to be better than this.
Yeah, I really like the characterization of Kratos and his journey through this. I like Atreus too, but I'm not in my replay. I'm not as far as you, so I don't remember. I do remember being annoyed by Atreus, but I don't know if it was to a great degree. He
goes hard. He's repeating what he's saying, whatever, instead of So it's very much like Kratos is being exposed to himself on the journey. And like, there's some poetry there that I can respect. I would have let Baldur kill Freya. That she's nuts. He was nuts. Like, just wrap up your nuts and take it outside.
I like Freya so much, though.
She's nuts.
I mean,
now.
I like them both a lot. But Freya's cool, man.
If there's a way,
I think there's more you could explore with her, because her turn happens very close to the end, and I think there's a lot more there's a lot more fun to be had and a lot more to mine with Freya as a villain.
There is a possibility that I love the idea that maybe she might haunt you throughout Ragnarok, like continue to just be in your way, particularly when you're in the hub world. If they can find a redemption for her, that'd be really great. But it was a very, very fast process and kind of adds that feeling of like, well, maybe they meant to put more game in this game. And maybe at that point they were like showcasing it and they were like, dude, you guys need to do a second one. They're like, hell yeah, we'll do a second one. Our studio only makes this game. Like, hell yeah, let's do it. And so they wrapped up things a little quick there.
No, I don't know. I just had a scene with Freya yesterday where I'm like, oh, it's kind of sowing the seeds of what happens next. Like, she's not really trustworthy of you from the get-go.
No, and she takes your nice arrows, your nice green arrows, and burns them right before you. And they worked it like there isn't.
That was the scene. I was like, oh right, shoot, yeah, I forgot about this. She kind of flares up like a lot earlier in the game than I remember.
Yeah. It's interesting after playing God of War 1 through 3, where just every god was nuts. You like didn't meet a single one that wasn't just off their rocker. And to have Freya go off her rocker there, I was like, oh, I kind of want Kratos to be living in a good god. Maybe it's just his retirement. I want him to have a better time. Like, you know, maybe I wanted Freya and them to be friends, and I was a little frustrated that a couple of gods couldn't be decent, but it does make him kind of the Batman of gods at this point, the policeman. who's going around cleaning up, and I'm hoping they find a balancing act where he doesn't have to clean up everybody. With now watching the trailer, it looks like they're gonna do
Thor.
Tyr. They're gonna do Tyr.
Oh, Tyr.
And
Okay.
Tyr might not be nuts. Like Tyr in this game was represented as a good god of war, and how Kratos could explore being a god of war, but also being, you know, a decent guy. So I hope Tyr's a good guy and not also revealed to be nuts, because then we've gone too far. Now we're back. Your big words about Kratos having no emotions in 1. Now we're right back to 2 and 3 of Kratos just killing everybody.
Yeah. I don't know where they could take it. I feel like they're gonna kill him, but I don't know what form that takes.
And I don't think you keep making games as, you know, Atreus' main game. You know, that feels kind of weird.
I think you don't call it God of War anymore.
Yeah.
But I would be interested in exploring more. I like Atreus. That's why I'm like trying to remember how annoyed I was, and it's coming up murky for me, because I remember still ending being like, I am surprised I was with a child character for that long, and I liked the game as much as I did. Like that actor did a really good job.
They made some very strong choices, and they were very aware of how babysitting and escort quests can get annoying. And they did that with Pandora in 3, and it was bad. It was not fun. You know, making sure she's not being grabbed off or pulled into some dimension. There's some like side quests where like Atreus gets grabbed and you have to help him, but they strictly kept those to hell rifts or whatever those things were that you'd occasionally run into. So some really smart game design decisions.
It's a good game. I'm looking forward to finishing my replay.
I'm just sad that, you know, I've got to get a PlayStation if I want to do it on release. I definitely want to. Oh,
you know, we'll figure it out.
and then when the kid walks in and he's got the hat, the Egyptian hat on, I'm just like, do it. I've wanted that for so long. Like when I first played God of War 1, I was just like, do it again and just go. Norse mythology was pretty low on my list, honestly. We didn't have Thor movies yet. I didn't particularly care too much. But when he walks in and they're like palling around with him wearing the hat while Kratos is looking at pottery. Oh man. And they originally were going to. Originally, they were going to make this an Egyptian god game, but as they got into it, they're like, oh, shit. Egyptian gods are almost all about civilization. Maybe our first foray into exploring Kratos shouldn't be, him in a city walking around with, like, infrastructure and people and innocence.
Yeah, I think you need to make him a more sociable character.
Yeah, but I hope they do. I hope they do an Egyptian someday.
Maybe that's where you take Atreus after Kratos.
That'd be fun. Okay, I could do that.
Atreus could be a more functioning, like, human, even though.
Yeah, well, he's a lord of languages.
Not.
Like his special powers are based around understanding languages and stuff. A cute little nod when he was like, "Can I turn into animals?" And you're like, Loki, yeah, it's cute. You know, it was pretty loud when you're like getting into the giant realm, and it's like, well, okay, a half giant, yep, yeah, the Odin, yeah, okay, I'm seeing this, I get it.
You gotta have to do Loki, right? You gotta,
yeah. You
can't do. They're hitting at Thor. You can't, yeah.
I was happy Loki wasn't a big part of it. I'm Loki burned out from Marvel things. In general,
that's such a specific Loki, though.
It is, but trickster gods in general, I'm glad we didn't really do that part. We just didn't really fight a lot of gods in God of War here. It was a great setup. I just wish I could have seen the other dimensions. I wanted to go. It was so teased out, Thor's dimension being all locked up the whole time. The Tyr stuff was interesting, though.
Well, I'm glad you liked it for the most part, man.
Places to go. Yeah, no, my critiques are merely things I want to see explored with a lot of understanding for how they happened and why.
So we need to get you a PS5 before November.
It comes out in PS4 too. So, you know, if I need the hustle and I have to, like, it is being co-released as long as PS5s are suffering. I mean, I don't really want to get a PS4. I'd rather have a PS5, but, you know, they're still hard to get.
They are. I've managed to secure 2 of them. So, you know, I can
show you my tricks. That was a lot of diligence, man. You were busy. Like, you were doing that every day. You were setting alarms and stuff. I was there while you were trying to do that.
Dogs are going nuts. Yeah, but the trick is you just don't get bummed out when you miss out. What you didn't hear is like the 40 of them that I didn't get.
Sure.
And it's just like, I missed it. You know, I don't stress out if I get a notification and I can't go and buy it right now. Like, it's just like, all of them I got, it was just I happened to be in the right place at the right time when I got a notification. So, anywho, we should, the show's already gone pretty long, but we should, let's take a question before we wrap
email
up,
on our
we?
way out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hello there. Hello there. Hello there.
You can send your emails to feedback@startgrindinggear.com, or if you're supporting us over at patreon.com/Garrett and Kyle, or just support our bromance.com, just go there. It'll take you to the same place. We've got a dedicated question channel, so you can send us a message there. And it's looking more and more like we're going to have to do a little bonus episode at some point and burn through some of these questions. But I want to talk about this one for no very personal reason whatsoever. But Anzo wrote in and said, hey, besides ITN, what is one other now defunct podcast or project you each have been a part of that you miss?
Ooh.
Yeah, no reason this is on my mind.
No. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I miss doing DM Gives Inspiration a lot. That was merely a time decision I did today, and it's still available. You can still find it on Spotify, and it's evergreen because it's Learn to Play 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. But I didn't have time to produce it anymore. It was a really, really fun project. I really enjoyed teaching in general, but I enjoyed teaching Dungeon Masters because I feel like being a DM is the best role. You're the wizard. You're the control sorcerer of a sorts. It's a strategy game. It's game design. It's just so rewarding, and a lot of people don't want to do the dungeon mastering part of Dungeons and Dragons. And I really enjoyed getting to inspire. I'm going to use that word. Inspire a lot of people to try out DMing and ultimately enjoy it.
It's literally the name of the show.
Yeah, it hit an emotional thing for me. I really like that, but it was a smaller show that had to be cut for time ultimately.
Yeah, everything I miss was something that gave me a lot of personal gratification, but the hours did not match up with the income, and I was just like, I can't keep again. For me, that was my solo show. I think we both have solo shows here, so R2T2. I miss a lot. Let me just explore whatever wild bullshittery I wanted to dive into on any given week, but it was just me, and it was like a day-long process to get one of those episodes out into the world to figure out what I was going to do and make it cohesive.
Yeah.
But I had a really good time making those. Those were fun.
Solo shows are intense. You got to keep talking. It's just you.
You gotta keep going.
Yeah.
You gotta keep going. For the longest time, I missed Weak Sauce, but this show is basically just the Super Saiyan version of that.
Exactly.
So.
This is that pumped up to 11 for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, but I mean, there's something I miss about all of them, but the personal, the very personal journey that was R2T2, that's up there. But yeah.
Yeah, they said besides ITN, man, at the height of Here's the Storm, and CCL just announced they're not doing another season and all that. Got to do the pro player interviews for that. Like, there was a time, I'm sure with many content creators, I think most content creators probably start out like this, particularly in the age of streaming, where you just are one game, where I was coaching and streaming and doing the show, and everything I did up until 2018, right, was just Here's the Storm. Everything.
Yeah. If you've been a single game creator, you've done it for any amount of time, eventually you're gonna have to live through your game dying.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen. Unless I guess it's World of Warcraft, but it's already had like kind of its mass exodus.
Right. Well, many deaths along the way, right? And that changes the infrastructure. There's always chances for new content creators to show up, for others to take spots, to find new ways to do something. Like, that ecosystem continues. And there's certainly Minecraft. Like, Minecraft keeps making videos. The palling around, gonna play Raft. We're gonna play, what was the one with the Grounded, I think, was the one where you were like tiny and fighting ants. Those games will always have a place. And those YouTube channels are so different than what we do in podcast land.
Yeah. And so this game and our little, like, our asides when we're streaming Final Fantasy, man, it's like get to stretch a bit, get to explore other games, get back to being just a lover, just getting back to be a gamer. I hate the word gamer; it's overused. It has no meaning anymore.
Sure,
but just getting back to like, oh yeah, I used to play whatever game I wanted to for whatever reason I wanted to, and that was that. And so this show allows us to explore that a little bit. And I love when we get up to our little conversations about what else we're playing on our stream. Like, it's just a good time.
It's healthy to have a massive diet of video games and consume other types of media as well. And live services, they came for our time for, I want to say like 9 years straight. Like every company.
They still are.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy, man.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But Final Fantasy found their pacing in this modern world where the patch cycle is regular, the number of bosses is set. Like you never knew what you were going to get with World of Warcraft or any Blizzard product. Like when you would get it, what the amount was, how much of it there was. And it left you jonesing constantly for more and in their ecosystem, in their maze.
And yet I'm jonesing to return to one of those I already did. Like, bring on Wrath, man. Bring on Wrath again. I want to do it. I want to play it.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm curious, of course, about the new Diablo game. How can you?
Oh, dude. Yeah, dude. The you weren't at that BlizzCon. The demo was great. I want to play that game big time. And some serious talent from Heroes of the Storm that we like what they do. They're over there making that game now. So I'm very excited for it. So thanks for the question. I'm going to keep it short this week. This episode went a little long and we fought through some technical difficulties. They tend to happen.
Light technical difficulties.
Yeah. But we want to thank and do a shout out to our badass patrons for supporting us here on Patreon. Check out, you can shortcut to our Patreon by going to supportourbromance.com. Help Kyle get a PS5. Go to supportourbromance.com.
That's the goal by March 9th of of November 9th. There's a date. You need dates for your goals. This is great.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah. Really appreciate everybody. Let's see. Kyle, you got some music ready? We got a lot of patrons.
I do. I'm loading up right now as everything crashed during the break. Oh. Well, people would know that song. Hang on, let me stop that one. A little callback there. Accidental callback. There we go.
All right. Matthew Marcy, thanks for becoming a patron.
Yes, to Paleo M. Thank you for becoming a patron.
Surubachi, appreciate your support.
Sonic Rose,
thanks. AJ Edmond, enjoy the patron perks.
Yeah. How would you accomplish this? The sandwich.
A Zixa.
A Zixa. Okay, yeah, I like that.
Zixa.
Yeah.
You know a Zixa.
I just never said it. I never said it aloud. I'm aware of what the name looks like.
Miss Renbird, thank you for becoming a patron.
Justin N, thank you for becoming a patron.
Will Fu, appreciate it.
Ryan Wojo.
Oh, Mr. R. Wojo.
Yeah.
I see you. You're in chat right now. And Brondo. Thanks for the support. Thanks for going to supportourbromance.com and signing up. We really appreciate it. And there's a very special level of patrons that we thank each and every episode. Our legendary level backers. Thank you to Sean B, Mike R, Zero Lambda, Stephen J, and Ross A. You want to get thanked every episode? Go check it out. All the info about becoming a legendary level backer is at supportourbromance.com. That was a very sudden stop of the music.
I apologize. I wanted to see if I could fade it out, but I pressed the wrong button.
I have a audible whiplash. You can follow Kyle on Twitter at Kyle Ferguson. I'm at Garrett Art. And you can find our YouTube content, including streams, the live stream of this show, our Final Fantasy XIV streams, and our weekly videos that upload every Wednesday at youtube.com/amovetv. Kyle, anything else you want to promote this week?
It's all here. It's all right here.
It's all here. So until next time, good luck. Have fun. No, we say GG now. GG!
I still say take care, though, right? Can I still do that? Do you want me to?
Yes. Yeah. I like take care. I would feel bad without it. Hell yeah. Stopping recording.
We did it.
We did. Frobius, I literally have no idea how to respond to that question. Is there a reason that certain things weren't covered in the God of War discussion? Yes, we're human, and we just talked about what we were interested in.
I'd be interested to know what certain things you're referring to.
Yeah, like I literally don't know what you mean by that. Like,
yeah.
To me, it sounds like, why didn't you cover everything? And to that, my response is, we didn't advertise it as covering everything.
Oh, no, yeah, well, time for sure. It was more of a emotional reaction. I'm also not aware of, like, popular complaints from 2018 release. I only just went and watched the trailer for the game, actually, last night. And then the trailer for the next one, because I went completely blind into it. Which I was happy for, because actually the PC release trailer was quite spoilery, with showing off even like the giant getting up and all kinds of stuff.
Gotcha. 2 massive reveals at the end.
Oh, like the going forward kind of moment.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I haven't played it in a while, so I don't remember exactly what you're referencing.
Yeah, the sort of you're talking about when you get the Valkyries down and you get the special ending, or when you go to sleep in the bed and all that kind of thing. I mean, I actually forgot to mention that too. I'm just happy he went to bed. Like, I was like, hell yeah, Kratos, get some sleep.
Oh god, the Valkyrie! I didn't do all the Valkyries. I didn't do that shit. Like, so yeah, I don't know.
Oh, we did get into Atreus' identity though. We were talking about we were talking
about that.
Yeah, we were talking about the very name of the thing. The very thing. We're out of the spoiler section, right? I can put it back on screen here. It'll be a little bit of screenception. And let me just go to desktop here. So this is on screen. So if anyone comes by, there's no confusion. I have my sweet desktop. But yeah, no, that's why we were saying the name. That's why we were saying the Loki name. And
I don't know if I saw that cottage scene.
You have to go back to the house and lay down.
Oh, I don't think I ever did that.
But I kind of encapsulate that in the reason I didn't want.
I've seen that. I think I just assumed it was part of the trailer for the next game.
Yeah, it is in a sense, but it's also a dream because Atreus isn't aged up properly. I believe. I don't know. I was looking at Kratos, not Atreus, so they may have aged Atreus, but that scene is in the trailer for Ragnarok. So all my hopes and gripes are not that we will fight and have a good time against Odin or Thor. It was merely I wanted to fight Odin and Thor in this one. It's kind of what it comes down to ultimately. I wanted to have that fight now rather than later. But yeah, no, I would say all those topics were covered adjacently in our conversation on my hopes for God of War 2022. But I get it. Yeah, it did say dream. He wasn't aged up. Yeah.
Yeah, if you wanted us to cover exact specifics, like, that's not what we're here to do.
No, that's a YouTube video where we have like planned notes and things and then there's editing where we record 2 hours of talk and then edit it down. But I totally get. I think it's groovy. You dug the conversation, want us to go deeper. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, how we just kind of connected Loki in and said, "I'm glad we didn't have a trickster god." Yeah, I meant on the outside. Like I did not want like oh, Kratos, you're trying to climb the mountain. Allow me to open weird doors and send you to dimensions. He's like, no, Loki, no. Like, that's what I meant. Not that I didn't get the end. I could see how it would come off that way, but no, I was just happy there wasn't like, Loki's here, kind of bullshittery in the middle of my journey.
There's not much to say about that reveal. Like, I guess it's important, but we don't really know where they're going with it.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. I'm excited to see. I hope. I have a lot of hopes. I hope they can build on what they did. It was a great game.
But also, my memory is shit for the end of this game. So
sure. Well, there's a lot of walking. You do a lot of like replaying it through. If you played it back to back, like you'd be like, "Oh man, let me run up this mountain, please. This is very slow." But in the moment, you're like feeling the music and like all the dead people.
I'm anxious to beat it again. Anyway, I have a lot of editing to do because we had issues during this.
Sure.
And so, yeah.
We'll see you tonight.
go off stream, and we'll see you for extremes tonight.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.